What's good? What's good? What's good? Okay, it's like starting in what, like 2 minutes? Uh, I think this is the best way. I'm just scared that this is gonna go away
because
because I even bought like the whole Hulu thing, and whenever I try and share my screen there, just like doesn't work. Just like goes like completely, yeah, as you guys can see, right? It's like completely blank. So I found a couple. Here's like one live stream, but I guess what I'm curious about is like, are they gonna actually like show it? So do you guys know a link where they'll actually show it? Because like I guess we'll see in like the next 2 minutes, right? Like, is this just gonna be like the pre-coverage stuff? What's good? What's good? Where are y'all tuning in from? NBC? Turn off hardware acceleration in Chrome. How do I do that? What's good? What's good? What's good, Kozu? Can you guys send a link? Man, this motherfucker, Real Crip Brian, always asking me to give me a job. Disney Plus. No, I tried. I bought the whole Hulu shit, and it's not doing it. Do you see that? Whereas if it's like, I have like 3 different like tabs open right now. So let me know which way is the best. It's on Peacock. See, okay, but I think that's the problem. If it's like on a streaming website, I can't see it. Chat, let me know. Where do you live? I'm in Austin. I'm in Austin, Texas. Love it, love it. We got 100 in here real quick. Can you guys see it, right? Hey, buddy, you'll be streaming it, I assume. Yeah, no shit. What do you think I'm doing right now? So, okay, do you guys know, I guess, right now, I'm just wondering when this is gonna... Calling a girl man buddy is wild. Okay, so let me start this off.
Just 10 seconds away, and we will be back with our post-game show as soon as it's over. We are going to toss it right now to David Muir and Lindsay Davis.
Tonight, the high-stakes showdown here in Philadelphia between Vice President
How's the audio?
Kamala
Are you
Harris
guys
and
hearing
former
it?
President Donald Trump. Their first face-to-face meeting in
like
this presidential
3
election.
tabs like open.
Their first face-to-face meeting ever.
A historic race for president upended just weeks ago. President Biden withdrawing after his last debate. Donald Trump now up against a new opponent.
You guys can hear it all right?
The candidates separated by the smallest of margins, essentially tied in the polls nationally. And in the key battlegrounds, including right here in Pennsylvania, all still very much in play.
Keep watching the
ABC
videos
News
and one day we'll
presidential
get
debate
there.
starts right now.
Can you full screen?
This is an ABC News special. The most consequential moment of this campaign. Kamala Harris.
Together, we will chart a new way forward.
I only have one screen, so I don't want to make it full screen.
We will soon be a great nation again.
Face to face. Historic.
Okay, it seems like this coverage is going to work.
The ABC News presidential debate. Here now, David Muir and Lindsay Davis.
Okay, maybe we'll do full screen. But anyways,
Good evening,
guys,
I'm David Muir, and thank you for joining us for tonight's ABC News
just like the title
presidential
says,
debate. We
I
want to
wanna
welcome viewers watching
make fun
on
of both
ABC
sides
and around the world tonight.
But
Vice President
make my
Kamala
face cam
Harris and
smaller.
President
That's fair
Donald
enough.
Trump are just moments away
one
from
thing I
taking
will
the
say
stage
though
in this
is
unprecedented race
I
for
have been
president.
thinking
And
about
I'm
who
Lindsay
I
Davis.
actually want to
Tonight's
vote
meeting
for.
could be
I don't know if
the
you guys
most
ever ended up
consequential
seeing like
event of their
my
campaigns with election
video
day now less than 2 months away.
where
For Vice
I
President Kamala Harris, this is
asked
her
people
first
in
debate
Washington,
since
D.C. who I'm
President
going to
Biden
vote for.
withdrew
But
from
at
the
the end of
race
that
on
video, I
July
said that, look,
21st.
I don't know if I'm going to
Of course, that
vote.
decision followed
I don't
his
think it
debate
makes
against
sense,
President
but
Donald Trump
I've
in
actually
June.
changed my mind
Since
on
then,
that.
this race has taken
But
on an
by the end of this
entirely new
debate,
dynamic.
And that
who
brings
knows,
us to
maybe-
the rules of
maybe
tonight's debate.
the
90
side
minutes
I'm
with 2
not planning
commercial
on voting
breaks.
for
No
is gonna
topics
change
or
my
questions
mind,
have been shared with the
but
campaigns.
I will
the
share
candidates
at
will
the
have
end of the
2 minutes
stream
to
who I
answer
think I'm gonna
questions,
vote
and
for.
this is the clock. That's what they'll be seeing. 2 minutes for rebuttals and 1 minute for follow-ups, clarifications, or responses.
So let me just move this.
Their microphones will only be turned on when it's their turn to speak. No pre-written notes allowed.
That's actually pretty cool how they're
There is
like
no
actually
audience here
muting
tonight in this hall at the National Constitution Center. This is an intimate setting for two candidates who have never met.
President Trump
Isn't that kind of crazy how like our debates,
the final closing statement of the evening.
how our goddamn debates are like a sports show?
To the right.
So let's now welcome
like
the
people are
candidates
watching
to the
it with
stage.
like
Vice
popcorn
President
and
Kamala
stuff.
Harris
I'm so
and
curious
President
for like the
Donald
international
Trump.
people. Like, do you guys have debates like this for your prime ministers and shit? Like, look at this. Look at how dramatic this is.
Kamala Harris. Let's have a good debate.
Nice to see you. Have fun.
Thank you.
Like, do you see
Welcome
that?
to you both. It's wonderful
So,
to have
like,
you. It's an honor
so
to
much
have you both here
tension.
tonight.
Good evening. We are looking forward to a spirited and
Yeah, it's so
thoughtful
over
debate.
So let's get
dramatized.
started.
You guys want a
begin
full
tonight
screen?
with the issue that voters repeatedly say is their #1 issue, and that is the economy and the cost of living in this country. Vice President Harris, you and President Trump were elected 4 years ago, and your opponent on the stage here tonight often asks his supporters, are you better off than you were 4 years ago? When it comes to the economy, do you believe Americans are better off than they were 4 years ago?
So I was raised as a middle-class kid. And I am actually the only person on this stage who has a plan that is about lifting up the middle class and working people of America. I believe in the ambition, the aspirations, the dreams of the American people. And that is why I imagine and have actually a plan to build what I call an opportunity economy. Because here's the thing. We know that we have a shortage of homes and housing. And the cost of housing is too expensive
also funny
for far
too
too
is
many
these
people.
debates at this point.
We know that
like,
young families need support to raise their children, and I intend on extending a tax cut for those families of $6,000,
I mean,
which
Biden
is the
literally
largest
couldn't even like
child tax credit that we have given in a long time, so that those young families can afford to buy a crib, buy a car seat, buy clothes for their children. My passion, one of them, is small businesses. My mother raised my sister and me, but there was a woman who helped raise us. We call her our second mother. She was a small business owner. I love our small businesses.
All right, Chad, who do you think is going to take the W? I want to see one in the chat for Donald Trump, two for Kamala.
Small businesses,
who are you guys rooting
knowing
for?
They are part of the backbone of America's economy.
What sports team
My
are you
opponent, on the other
rooting
hand, his plan is to do what he has done before, which is to provide a tax cut for billionaires and big corporations, which will result in $5 trillion.
Let's be real, no one answers the goddamn questions.
My opponent has a plan that I call the Trump's sales tax, which would be a 20% tax on everyday goods that you rely on to get through the month. Economists have said that Trump sales tax would actually result for middle-class families in about $4,000 more a year, because of his policies and his ideas about what should be the backs of middle-class people paying for tax cuts for billionaires.
President Trump, I'll give you 2 minutes.
First of all, I have no sales tax. That's
also,
an
I'm curious
incorrect
to see
statement.
how the moderators are fair
We're
or
doing
not.
tariffs on other countries. Other countries are going to finally, after 75 years, pay us back for all that we've done for the world.
One thing that's interesting is that
the
actually initially this debate was supposed to be on Fox News.
I took in billions and billions of
for the
dollars, as
international
you know,
people,
from China.
it's like more like
in
the
fact, they
right-leaning
never took the tariff
media
off
outlet
because
here.
it was so much money they can't. It would totally destroy
but I think
everything
Kamala
that
said,
they've
no,
set
I
out
want
to
this
do.
like on ABC,
They're taking in
which
billions
is
of dollars from
definitely more of a
China and
liberal
other
platform,
places.
so
They've left the
something to
tariffs
know.
on. When I had it, I had tariffs, and yet I had no inflation. Look, we've had a terrible economy because inflation which is really known as a country buster. It breaks up countries. We have inflation like very few people have ever seen before, probably the worst in our nation's history.
Do I think Fox
we
is a
were
valid
at
news source?
21%,
No.
but that's being generous because many things
Neither
are 50,
platform
60, 70, and 80% higher than they were just a few years ago. This has been a disaster for people, for the middle class,
that is
but for
true.
every
Like,
class.
if
On
she's going to
top
talk
of
about
that,
all
we
these
have
changes she's going to make,
millions
why
of
hasn't
people
she
pouring
done that
into
over
our
the last
country
4
from
years? Or, I mean, she's
prisons
literally
and
still
jails,
vice
from
president.
mental institutions
Also,
and insane asylums.
Guys, when's the last time you guys heard about Joe
taking
Biden?
jobs
like
that
as
are
soon as he
occupied right
dropped-
now by African
Have you guys heard
Americans and
anything about him?
Hispanics, and also unions. Unions are going to be affected very soon. And you see what's happening. You see what's happening with towns throughout the United States. You look at Springfield, Ohio. You look at Aurora in Colorado. They are taking over the towns. They're taking over
have you guys
buildings.
seen,
They're
like,
going
what's
in
happening in
violently.
Springfield?
These are the people that she and
I haven't eaten dinner
Biden
yet, too,
led
so.
into our country, and they're destroying our country. They're dangerous. They're at the highest level of criminality and we have to get them out. We have to get them out fast.
I'm so curious on what the international
greatest
people think about all this.
In the history of our country.
Okay, sorry, I'm talking
I'll do
too
it
much.
again and even better.
We are going to get to immigration and border security during this debate, but I would like to let Vice President Harris respond on the economy here.
Well, I would love to. Let's talk about what Donald Trump left us. Donald Trump left us the worst unemployment since the Great Depression. Donald Trump left us the worst public health epidemic in a century. Donald Trump left us the worst attack on our democracy since the Civil War.
Okay, but genuinely, what does that even mean, the whole attack on democracy shit?
What we have done and what I intend to do is build on what we know are the aspirations and the hopes of the American people. But I'm going to tell you all in this debate tonight, you're going to hear from the same old tired playbook, a bunch of lies, grievances, and name-calling.
Trump looks like he's
What you're going to hear
mewing.
tonight is a detailed and dangerous plan called Project 2025 that the former president intends on implementing if he were elected again. I believe very strongly that the American people want a president who understands the importance of bringing us together, knowing we have so much more in common than what separates us. And I pledge to you to be a president for all Americans.
President Trump will give you a minute here to respond.
Number one, I have nothing to do, as you know, and as she knows better than anyone, I have nothing to do with Project 2025. That's out there. I haven't read it. I don't want to read it purposely. I'm not going to read it. This was a group of people that got together. They came up with some ideas, I guess some good, some bad. But it makes no difference. I have nothing to do. Everybody knows I'm an open book. Everybody knows what I'm going to do. Cut taxes very substantially and create a great economy like I did before. We had the greatest economy. We got hit with a pandemic. And the pandemic was not since 1917, where 100 million people died, has there been anything like it. We did a phenomenal job with the pandemic. We handed them over a country where the economy and where the stock market was higher than it was before the pandemic came in. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. We made ventilators for the entire world. We got gowns, we got masks, we did things that nobody thought possible. And people give me credit for rebuilding the military. They give me credit for a lot of things, but not enough credit for the great job we did with the pandemic. But the only jobs they got were bounce back jobs. These were jobs bounce back, and it bounced back and it went to their benefit. But I was the one that created them. They know it, and so does everybody else.
Vice President Harris, I'll let you respond.
So Donald Trump has no plan for you. And when you look at his economic plan, it's all about tax breaks for the richest people. I am offering what I describe as an opportunity economy, and the best economists in our country, if not the world, have reviewed our relative plans for the future of America.
Who do you guys think has more aura?
What Goldman Sachs has said is that Donald Trump's plan would make the economy worse. Mine would strengthen the economy. What the Wharton School has said is Donald Trump's plan
I'm not going to vote out of principle, but I support Trump more than Harris.
Actually explode the deficit.
I respect that.
16 Nobel laureates have described his economic plan as something that would increase inflation, and by the middle of next year would invite a recession. Guys, if you guys don't feel aligned with the candidate, you just have to look at
where
we are and where we stand on the issues. And I'd invite you to know that Donald Trump actually has no plan for you because he is more interested in defending himself than he is in looking out for you.
I don't think you have to vote if you don't feel like you're aligned with either candidate.
I went to the Wharton School of Finance, and many of those professors, the top professors, think my plan is a brilliant plan. It's a great plan. It's a plan that's going to bring up our worth, our value as a country. It's going to make people want to be able to go and work and create jobs and create a lot of good, solid money for our country. And just to finish off, she doesn't have a plan. She copied Biden's plan, and it's like 4 sentences, like run, spot, run. 4 sentences that are just, oh, we'll try and lower taxes. She doesn't have a plan. Take a look at her plan. She doesn't have a plan.
Mr. President, I do want to drill down on something.
He's like a lot more professional.
The Vice President brought up your tariffs. You responded, and let's drill down on this, because your plan is what she calls is essentially a national sales tax. Your proposal calls for tariffs, as you pointed out here, on foreign imports across the board. You recently said that you might double your plan, imposing tariffs up to 20% on goods coming into this country. As you know, many economists say that with tariffs at that level, costs are then passed on to the consumer. Vice President Harris has argued it'll mean higher prices on gas, food, clothing, medication, arguing it costs the typical family nearly $4,000 a year. Do you believe Americans can afford higher prices because of tariffs?
They're not going to have higher prices. What's going to have and who's going to have higher prices is China and all of the countries that have been ripping us off for years. I was the only ever. China was paying us hundreds of billions of dollars, and so were other countries. And, you know, if she doesn't like them, they should have gone out and they should have immediately cut the tariffs. But those tariffs are there 3.5 years now.
Oh, what the fuck?
Under their administration. We are going to take in billions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars. I had no inflation, virtually no inflation. They had the highest inflation perhaps in the history of our country because I've never seen a worse period of time. People can't go out and buy cereal or bacon or eggs or anything else. The people of our country are absolutely dying with what they've done. They've destroyed the economy. And all you have to do is look at a poll. The polls say 80 and 85 and even 90% that the Trump economy was great, that their economy was terrible.
We good or what?
President Harris, I do want to ask for your response, and you heard what the president said there, because the Biden administration did keep a number of the Trump tariffs in place. So how do you respond?
Well, let's be clear that the Trump administration resulted in a trade deficit, one of the highest we've ever seen in the history of America. He invited trade wars. You want to talk about his deal with China? What he ended up doing is under Donald Trump's presidency, he ended up selling American chips to China to help them improve and modernize their military, basically sold us out. When a policy about China should be in making sure the United States of America wins the competition for the 21st century, which means focusing on the details of what that requires, focusing on relationships with our allies, focusing on investing in American-based technology so that we win the race on AI, on quantum computing, focusing on what we need to do to support America's workforce.
Also, thank you all for joining
so that
in,
we don't end up having on the short end of the stick in terms of workers' rights. But what Donald Trump did, let's talk about this, with COVID, is he actually thanked President Xi for what he did during COVID. Look at his tweet. Thank you, President Xi, exclamation point, when we know that Xi was responsible for lacking and not giving us transparency about the origins of COVID.
President Trump, I'll let you respond.
First of all, they bought their chips from Taiwan. We hardly make chips anymore because of philosophies like they have and policies like they have. I don't say her because she has no policy. Everything that she believed 3 years ago and 4 years ago is out the window. She's going to my philosophy now. In fact, I was going to send her a MAGA hat. She's gone to my philosophy. But if she ever got elected, she'd change it. And it will be the end of our country. She's a Marxist. Everybody knows she's a Marxist. Her father's a Marxist professor in economics, and he taught her well. But when you look at what she's done to our country, and when you look at these millions and millions of people that are pouring into our country monthly, where it's, I believe, 21 million people, not the 15 that people say, and I think it's a lot higher than the 21. That's bigger than New York State pouring in. And just look at what they're doing to our country. They're criminals. Many of these people coming in are criminals. And that's bad for our economy, too. You know, you mentioned before, we'll talk about immigration later. Well, bad immigration is the worst thing that can happen to our economy.
Where am I getting Cordians
They
at?
have, and she has
destroyed I'll let you know about
our
at the end of the
country
debate.
with policy that's insane. Almost policy that you'd say they have to hate our country.
President Trump, thank you. Lindsay?
I want to turn to the issue of abortion. President Trump, you've often touted that you were able to kill Roe v. Wade. Last year, you said that you were proud to be the most pro-life president in American history. Then last month, you said that your administration would be great for women and their reproductive rights. In your home state of Florida, you surprised many with regard to your 6-week abortion ban because you initially had said that it was too short. And you said, quote, I'm going to be voting that we need more than 6 weeks. But then the very next day, you reversed course and said you would vote to support the 6-week ban.
I think it should be a state issue.
Vice President Harris says that women shouldn't trust you on the issue of abortion because you've changed your position so many times. Therefore, why should they trust you?
Well, the reason I'm doing that vote is because the plan is, as you know, the vote is, they have abortion in the 9th month. They even have, and you can look at the governor of West Virginia, the previous governor of West Virginia, not the current governor, who's doing an excellent job, but the governor before, he said the baby will be born and we will decide what to do with the baby. In other words, we'll execute the baby. And that's why I did that, because that predominates, because they're radical. The Democrats are radical in that. And her vice presidential pick, which I think was a horrible pick, by the way, for our country, because he is really out of it.
If I had to
her
choose
vice presidential
whether to vote or
pick
not,
says abortion
I'd rather
in the
not
ninth
vote,
month
to be honest with
is
you.
absolutely fine.
But
he also says
in this election, I think I'm going to break
it's
my
execution,
voting
no
virginity,
longer abortion,
as they
because
call
the
it.
baby is born, is okay. And that's not okay with me, hence the vote. But what I did is something for 52 years. They've been trying to get Roe v. Wade into the states. And through the genius and heart and strength of 6 Supreme Court justices, we were able to do that. Now, I believe in the exceptions for rape, incest, and life of the mother. I believe strongly in it. Ronald Reagan did also. 85% of Republicans do.
Stay on the debate?
Exceptions. Very important. But we were able to get it, and now states are voting on it. And for the first time, you're going to see, look, this is an issue that's torn our country apart for 52 years. Every legal scholar, every Democrat, every Republican, liberal, conservative, they all wanted this issue to be brought back to the states where the people could vote. And that's what happened. Now, Ohio, the vote was somewhat liberal. Kansas, the vote was somewhat liberal, much more liberal than people would have thought.
So I think this will be a good time to
each individual state
One thing that's interesting about abortion is that it's kind of like a
It's not
luxury
tied up in the federal government.
in many ways.
I did a great service in doing it. It took courage to do it. And the Supreme Court had great courage in doing it. And I give tremendous credit to those 6 justices.
There is no state in this country where it is legal to kill a baby after it's born. Madam Vice President, I want to get your response to President Trump.
Well, as I said, you're going to hear a bunch of lies, and that's not actually a surprising fact. Let's understand how we got here. Donald Trump hand-selected 3 members of the United States Supreme Court with the intention that they would undo the protections of Roe v. Wade. And they did exactly as he intended. And now in over 20 states, there are Trump abortion bans, which make it criminal for a doctor or nurse to provide health care. In one state, it provides prison for life. Trump abortion bans that make no exception even for rape and incest, which understand what that means. A survivor of a crime of violation to their body does not have the right to make a decision about what happens to their body next. That is immoral. And one does not have to abandon their faith
Also, who are the
or
first-time
deeply held
live stream
beliefs
viewers right
to
now?
agree. The
Type 1 in the
government
chat if you're
and
a first time
Donald
in the
Trump
live
certainly
stream.
should not be telling a woman what to do with her body.
Okay,
I have talked
I
with
hate
women
the whole, like,
around our country.
If you're
you
not a
wanna
woman,
talk
you
about
can't
this
say
is
shit
what
about
people
abortion.
wanted?
That's the dumbest
Pregnant
fucking thing I've
women
ever
who
heard.
want to carry
First and foremost,
a pregnancy to term, suffering from a miscarriage, being denied
let me
care
mute this down
in
a
an
little bit.
emergency room because
First
the
and
healthcare
foremost,
providers are afraid they might go to jail.
How,
and she's
like, we
bleeding
all
out
have
in a
opinions
car
on
in the
things that
parking
don't
lot.
concern us.
She didn't want
And
that.
two, in
Her
order to have a
husband didn't want
pregnancy, you
that.
need 2 to tango.
A
You need a
12
man
or
and a woman.
13-year-old
At the end of the
survivor
day,
incest,
yes, it is the woman,
being
and that's
forced to
why
carry
I'm
a
pro-life,
pregnancy
is
to
that the woman
term?
should have the choice because they're
They
the
don't
ones
want
carrying it.
that.
But it
And I
impacts
pledge
both.
to you,
And
when
I hate
Congress
that fucking
passes a
repeated
bill
argument because
to
we
put
all
back in
have
place the
opinions on things that
protections
don't
of Roe v.
matter or
Wade.
like that
As
doesn't pertain
President
to
of
us.
the United
You know, a
States,
lot
I
of the
will
border
proudly
issue, right? That's
sign
things
it
that
into
both
law.
liberals and
But
Republicans talk
understand,
about.
if
But
Donald
most
Trump were
people
to be reelected,
don't live by the
he will
border.
sign a national
I was just
abortion
in
ban.
Laredo, Texas.
Understand,
Their
in his Project
population is only like
2025, there will
20,
be a
30,000
national abortion- a monitor
compared
that would be
to the
monitoring
major
your
cities in
pregnancies, your
Texas,
miscarriages.
right?
I think
Austin,
the
San
American
Antonio,
people
Dallas,
believe
Houston. It's like
that
4 or
certain
5 hours away
freedoms,
from the
in
border.
particular the
Right?
freedom
We
to make
all have
decisions
opinions,
about
but
one's own
sorry, I'm
body,
yapping too much.
should not be made by the government.
Thank you, Vice President Harris.
Well, there she goes again. It's a lie. I'm not signing a ban, and there's no reason to sign a ban because we've gotten what everybody wanted. Democrats, Republicans, and everybody else, and every legal scholar wanted it to be brought back into the states, and the states are voting. And it may take a little time.
Oh,
but
sorry,
for
I meant
52
pro-choice.
years,
Yeah,
this
I mixed up
issue
pro-life and
has
pro-choice.
torn
My fault.
our country apart, and they've wanted it back in the states. And I did something that nobody thought was possible. The states are now voting. What she says is an absolute lie. And as far as the abortion ban, no, I'm not in favor of abortion ban, but it doesn't matter because this issue has now been taken over by the states.
Would you veto a national abortion ban if it came to your desk?
Well, I won't have to because, again, two things. Number one, she said she'll go back to Congress. She'll never get the vote. It's impossible for her to get the vote.
It is kind of weird,
especially
though,
now
no?
with the
Like, how big of an
50-50,
issue abortion is?
essentially 50-50 in both
Like, genuinely.
Senate and the House. She's not going to get the vote.
I'm curious,
she can't
like,
get the vote. She won't even come close
how
to
many
it. So it's
abortions
just
there
talk.
even
You know
are
what
in
it
the
reminds
US?
me of
I'm
when
sure
they said
it's like
they're
a
going to get
decent
student
amount
loans
compared to, like, other
terminated,
countries,
and
but-
it ended up being a total catastrophe. The student loans, and then I think probably her boss, if you call him a boss, he spends all his time on the beach. But look, her boss went out and said, we'll do it again. We'll do it a different way. And he went out, got rejected again by the Supreme Court. So all these students got taunted with this whole thing about this whole idea.
Okay, but
and
why is he
how
talking about
unfair that
student
would have been
debt
part of the reason they lost
regarding
to
abortion?
the millions and millions of
feel
people
like
that had to
moderators should
pay
step
off
in
their
when it
student
gets, like, off
loans.
track,
They
you know?
didn't get it for free. But they were saying it's the same way that they talked about that they talk about abortion.
But if I could just get a yes or no,
Okay,
because your
I get
running
why
mate,
you're saying
J.D. Vance, has said that you would veto it if it did come to your desk.
Well, I didn't discuss it with
2023,
J.D. In
it was
all fairness,
1.1 million
J.D.
abortions.
And I don't mind if he has a certain view, but I think he was speaking for me, but I really didn't. Look, we don't have to discuss
every
it
voice
because
matter? Do you
she'd
think
never be
every
able to get
state or
it, just
nation
like she
should have a
couldn't get
referendum?
student
What do you
loans. They
mean by
couldn't
that?
get student loans. They didn't even come close to getting student loans. They taunted young people and a lot of other people that had loans. They can never get this approved. So it doesn't matter what she says about going to Congress. Well, wonderful. Let's go to Congress. Do it. But the fact is that for years they wanted to get it out of Congress and out of the federal government. And we did something that everybody said couldn't be done. And now you have a vote of the people on abortion.
Vice President Harris, I want to give you your time to respond, but I do want to ask, would you support any restrictions on a woman's right to an abortion?
I absolutely support reinstating the protections of Roe v. Wade. And as you rightly mentioned, nowhere in America is a woman carrying a pregnancy to term and asking for an abortion. That is not happening. It's insulting to the women of America. And understand what has been happening under Donald Trump's abortion bans. Couples who pray and dream of having a family are being denied IVF treatments. What is happening in our country? Working people, working women who are working 1 or 2 jobs, who can
Obviously, they're
barely
both politicians at this
afford
point,
childcare as it is,
but it is
have
interesting to see, like, their
travel to another
communication
state,
styles,
to
right?
get on a plane
Like, doesn't
sitting
she
next
kinda,
to
like,
strangers,
sound like a little bit
to
more
go and get the
scripted
health care she needs,
versus, like, Trump?
barely can afford to
Like,
do
Trump
it,
kind of
and
like,
what you are putting her
it's like a lot more
through
casual. It's like
is
how he probably talks in real
unconscionable.
life. You
And
know?
the people of America have not, the majority of Americans
I think more of you guys want me
believe
to
in a
yap.
woman's right to make decisions about her own body.
You just want me to shut up
and
and
that
leave
is
the
why,
stream.
in every state where this issue has been
But
on
have you
the
guys noticed
ballot
that,
in
though?
red and
How
blue
she
states
communicates
both,
versus Trump?
the people of America have voted for freedom.
Vice President Harris,
Excuse me, I
thank
have
you.
to respond. Another lie. It's another lie. I have been a leader on IVF, which is fertilization. The IVF, I have been a leader. In fact, when they got a very negative decision on IVF from the Alabama courts, I saw the people of Alabama and the legislature 2 days later voted it in. I've been a leader on it. They know that, and everybody else knows it. I have
Also, you
been
guys
a
are all
leader
real
on
ones for tuning in on
fertilization,
this, by the way.
IVF. And the other thing, you should ask, will she allow abortion in the 8th month, 9th month, 7th month?
Trump is surprisingly less unhinged.
would
yeah, I
you do
agree.
that? Why don't you
Guys,
ask that
honestly, it's
question?
so
That's
funny
the
how we
question.
like
Would you
want
veto
drama
Roe
in these
v.
things.
Answer the question,
You
would you
could,
veto?
you could do abortions in the 7th month, the 8th month, the 9th
That's
month,
not true.
and probably after birth. Just look at the governor, former governor of Virginia. The governor of Virginia said, we put the baby aside, and then we determine what we want to do with the baby.
President Trump, thank you.
We're going to turn now to immigration and border security.
I
We
mean,
know
9
it's an
months
issue that's
abortion
important
is
to
wild.
Republicans, Democrats, voters across the board in this country. Vice President Harris, you were tasked by President Biden with getting to the
In the
root
past, I
causes
haven't
of
been pro
migration
Kamala,
from
but I
Central
think her public
America.
speaking is
We
significantly
know that
improved. I
illegal
agree.
border
I completely
crossings
agree with
reached
that.
a record
That's
high
well
in
said.
the Biden administration.
No. Is it lagging?
This past June, President Biden imposed tough new asylum restrictions. We know the numbers since then have dropped significantly. But my question to you tonight is, why did the administration wait until 6 months
Who do you guys
before
think is
the
winning
election
so
to
far?
act?
It's just-
And would you
it
have done
seems like
anything
pretty-
differently from President Biden on this?
So I'm the only person on this stage who has
Are you guys- do you
prosecuted
guys have trouble hearing me?
transnational criminal organizations for the trafficking of guns, drugs, and human beings.
How about this?
And let me say that the United States Congress, including some of the most conservative members of the United States Senate, came up with a border security bill,
Ooh, so you guys
which
think
I
Kamala's
supported.
winning? Interesting.
And that bill would have put 1,500 more border agents
guys,
on the border to help
isn't
those
this just
folks
like
who
the
are working
future
there
of
right
watching
now
things like this?
overtime, trying to
Like,
do their job.
Think about how much
It
more
would have
interactive
allowed
this is
us
to like
to stem the
being
flow
able to
of
comment,
fentanyl coming
being
into
able
the
to like
United
share
States.
these
I
opinions,
know
have
there are so many
polls,
families watching
versus just
tonight
like watching
who
this
have
by
been personally
yourself.
affected by the
Like
surge
I'm not
of
just saying just
fentanyl
watch
in
me.
our
I'm just
country.
saying like live
That
streaming
bill
and watching
would
these
have
things
put
together
more
is so much
resources
more of like
to
a
allow
fun
us
experience.
to
No?
prosecute transnational criminal organizations
I would be like
for
so distracted
trafficking
on
in
my
guns,
phone right
drugs,
now
and
if I
human
wasn't
beings.
like
But you know what
streaming.
happened to that bill? Donald Trump got on the phone,
We got 400 plus
called
viewers?
up
Fuck
some
yeah.
folks in Congress and said, kill the bill. And you know why? Because he'd prefer to run on a problem
Yeah, nobody's,
instead
like, really
of fixing
impressing.
a problem. And understand, this comes at a time where the people of our country actually need a leader who engages in solutions, who actually addresses the problems at hand. But what we have in the former president is
Honestly,
someone who would
Kamala's not
prefer to
doing
run
bad,
on a
bro. She's,
problem
like, kinda holding
instead
her
of
own.
fixing a problem. And I'll tell you something, he's going to talk about immigration a lot tonight, even when it's not the subject
Like-
that is being raised. And I'm going to actually do something really unusual, and I'm going to invite
Again, how old are you? I'm 27.
to attend one of Donald Trump's rallies.
W stream.
'Cause it's
Chat.
a
W in
really
the chat if you guys are
interesting
fucking
watch.
with this.
You
This
will
is-
see
this is a
during the
way to
course of
watch
his
it together,
rallies, he
man.
talks
With my
about fictional
community,
characters like Hannibal Lecter.
You guys can challenge me.
He will talk
You guys
about
can make fun of me,
windmills
call
cause
me
cancer.
forehead, whatever.
And what you will
But we're
also
watching this
notice
shit
is
together,
that people
man.
start leaving his rallies early out of exhaustion and boredom.
All right.
And I will tell you, the one thing you will not hear him talk about is you. You will not hear him talk about your needs, your dreams,
Man, we got
and your
Brazilian
and your
Trump supporters
desires.
in here.
And I'll tell you, I believe you deserve a president who actually puts you first. And I pledge to you that I will.
Vice President Harris, thank you. President Trump, on that point, I want to get your response.
Well, I would like to respond.
Let me just ask, though, why did you try to kill that bill, and successfully
moderator.
so? That would have put thousands of additional agents and officers on the border.
First, let me respond as to the
Please.
rallies. She said people start leaving. People don't go to her rallies. There's no reason to go. And the people that do go, she's bussing them in and paying them to be there.
Oh, my
And then showing them in a different light. So she can't talk about that. People don't leave my rallies. We have the biggest rallies, the most incredible rallies in the history of politics. That's because people want to take their country back.
That is true.
Our country
In that
is
DC
being
video
lost.
where I
We're a
asked people
failing nation.
who are you
and it
voting
happened
for?
3.5 years ago.
People were only
And
selling Trump merch.
What's going on here, you're going to end up in World War III, just to go into another subject. What they have done to our country by allowing these millions and millions of people to come into our country, and look at what's happening to the towns all over the United States. And a lot of
Yeah,
towns
Trump
don't
is
want to
lying,
talk.
isn't
Not going to be Aurora or Springfield. A lot of towns don't want to talk about it because they're so embarrassed by it. In Springfield,
Remember when Kamala
they're
was trying to pay
eating the
streamers to endorse
dogs,
her?
the
Yeah,
people
that
that
is
came
the
in.
weirdest
They're
shit to
eating
me,
the
man.
cats.
Are
They're
we
eating.
reached like an age where there's
They're
Gen
eating
Z
the pets of the
influencers
people
for
that live
political
there.
candidates? That's so
and this is
weird.
what's happening in our
Do you
country.
guys know if there's, like,
and it's a
Trump,
shame. As far as
influencers? I
rallies
mean,
are concerned,
just like how
as
there was, like,
far
those
as
right-wing,
the reason they go
or
is they
right-wing,
like what I say. They want
influencers
to
that was just
bring
paid
our
off by
country
Russia,
back.
right?
They want to make
must have it
America
for
great
Trump's.
again. It's a very simple phrase: make America great again. She's destroying this country, and if she becomes president, this country doesn't have a chance of success.
you guys hear me all right?
Not only
Okay.
success, we'll end up being Venezuela on steroids.
I just want to clarify here. You bring up Springfield,
All I'm gonna say,
Ohio.
if the
and
whole
ABC
Haitian
News
eating
did reach
cats
out to the
thing is
city
true.
manager there. He told us there had been no credible
This is gonna be
reports of
fucked up.
specific claims of pets being harmed, injured, or abused by
But,
individuals
hey,
within the
finally the
immigrant
Asians
community.
aren't getting
I've
the
seen people on
cat
television
eating
say here,
jokes.
this is
People on television say my dog was taken and used
Finally,
for
we're
food.
not getting
So
the cat
maybe
eating
he said
jokes.
that, and
You
maybe
know how
that's a
many
good thing to
of
say
those
for a
jokes
city
I heard
manager.
growing
I'm
up?
not taking this from
But the
television.
people are on
I'm taking it from
television
the city
saying their
manager.
dog was eaten by the people that went there.
Again, the Springfield city manager says there's no evidence
Hey
of that.
man,
Vice President
we're
Harris,
the
I'll let you
only
respond to
cat
the rest of
dog
what you
eaters no more.
Talk about extreme. You know, this is, I think, one of the reasons why in this election I actually have the endorsement of 200 Republicans
bringing up the whole cat
who
shit is
have
kind of
formerly
insane on a
worked
debate
with
like
President
this.
Bush,
Bro's
Mitt
been on Twitter
Romney,
too much.
and John McCain, including the endorsement of former Vice President Dick Cheney and Congress member Liz Cheney. And if you want to really know,
that's true. This is kind of
the
crazy how
inside
this is
track
what politics
on
have come
who
to. Like,
the former
bro just
president
read
is,
like
if
a
he didn't
Twitter
make it clear
timeline.
already, just ask people who have worked with him. His former chief of staff, a 4-star general, has said he has contempt for the Constitution of the United States. His former national security advisor has said he is dangerous and unfit. His former Secretary of Defense has said the nation, the Republic, would never survive another Trump
bringing up good points.
term. And when we listen
like she's doing
to this
a lot
kind
better
of
than
rhetoric, when the issues that affect the American people are not
and yeah,
being
you guys are going to call me a
addressed,
grifter because I said that.
choice
No,
is
like
clear in
genuinely.
this election.
President Trump, I'll give you a quick minute to respond here.
Thank you, because when I hear that, see,
I feel
I'm
like
a
all my
different
Brazilian
kind of a person.
supporters are
I fired
Trump
most
supporters.
of those people, not so graciously. They did bad things.
Is
or
their
bad
debate
jobs.
just going to be shitting on
I
each other?
fired them.
Yes.
They
that's
never
what
fired one person.
American
They
presidential
didn't fire
debate is.
anybody having to do with Afghanistan and the.
Chat, vote on the poll.
And you take a guy like Esper, he was no good, I fired him, so he writes a book. Another one writes a book, because with me they can write books, with nobody else can they. But they have done such a poor job, and they never fire anybody. Look at the economy. Look at the inflation. They didn't fire any of their economists. They have the same people. That's a good way not to have books.
I'm curious.
Written
Do
about
any
you.
of you guys
But
change
just
your
to finish,
mind
I got
through these
more
debates?
votes than any Republican,
Especially
in
those are
history
like more on the
by
fence
far.
or not really passionate about it.
In fact,
like, do you guys
I got
use
more
these
votes
debates to
than
like
any
decide who you want to
president
vote
sitting
for?
president in history.
I'm just curious
by
on like
far.
how much these debates like actually.
Let me
move
continue on
votes
immigration. It
for,
was what
like,
you wanted to talk about
general
earlier.
America.
So let's get back to your deportation proposal that the vice president has reacted to as well. President Trump, you call this the largest domestic deportation operation in the history of our country. You say you would use the National Guard. You say if things get out of control, you'd have no problem using the U.S.
With local
military.
police, yes.
You also said you would use local police. How would you deport 11 million undocumented immigrants? I know you believe that number
11 million
is much
crazy.
higher. Take us through this. What does this look like? Will authorities be going door to door in this country?
Yeah. It is much higher
the fuck was
because
that?
of them. They allowed criminals, many millions of criminals. They allowed terrorists. They allowed common street criminals. They allowed people to come in, drug dealers.
That
to
is
come
also
into
a
our
huge
country,
exaggeration.
And they're now in the United
yes,
States.
there are
and told
definitely
by
criminals.
Their
Some people
countries
try and
like
say there's
Venezuela,
none.
don't ever
Absolutely.
come back.
I mean,
or
I
we're
just
going
went to
kill you.
Laredo,
Do
Texas,
you know that
and
crime
saw
in
it.
Venezuela
Even the border
and
patrol
crime in
agent that I was
countries
with
all over
said
the
that.
world is way
But,
down.
look, they're not all
you know
criminals,
why?
obviously.
Because they've taken their criminals off the street and they've given them to her to put into our country. And this will be one of the greatest mistakes in history for them to allow. And I think they probably did it because they think they're going to get votes.
11
but
million
it's not
is
worth
crazy,
it
though.
because they're
Right?
destroying the fabric of our country by what they've done. There's never been anything done like this at all. They've destroyed the fabric of our country. Millions of people let in, and all over the world, crime is down all over the world except here. Crime here is up and through the roof. Despite their fraudulent statements that they made, crime in this country is through the roof. And we
I'm
have
curious
a new
on how
form
much
of
crime has
It's called
actually gone up.
migrant crime, and it's happening at levels that nobody thought
I know we're hearing it a
possible.
lot,
Trump,
but
as
it
you
is
know, the
also
FBI
election
says
season.
overall violent crime is actually coming down in this
But
country.
I'm super excited to
Excuse me,
release that
they
video,
were
y'all.
defraud-
Did a
they were
ride along with
defrauding statements.
police
They-
down in
they
Laredo,
didn't
Texas. It's
include
going to
the
be a
worst
fucking
cities.
banger.
They didn't include the cities with the worst crime. It was a fraud, just like their number of 818,000 jobs that they said they created turned out to be a fraud.
President Trump, thank you. I'll let you respond, Vice President Harris.
Well, I think this is so rich.
Look into Cash Jordan on New York migrants on the
Coming
ground
from
coverage.
someone who has been prosecuted.
Bro, it's been like, yeah.
For
I respect this hustle, but
national
that's like all he
security
talks about,
crimes,
man.
economic crimes, election interference, has been found liable for sexual assault, and his next big
Fuck. What the hell's happening? Yo.
respect for law enforcement.
What the fuck?
The former vice president called
My
for
internet's doing bad?
defunding federal law enforcement, 45,000 agents, get this, on the day after he was arraigned on 34 felony counts. So let's talk about what is important in this race. It is important that we move forward, that we turn the page on this same old tired rhetoric and address the needs of the American people, address what we need to do about the housing shortage, which I have a plan for, address what we must do to support our small businesses, address bringing down the price of groceries. But
man, she
frankly,
is such
the
a
American
politician,
people
though.
are
You know what I mean? Just like how she talks.
with this same old tired playbook.
Vice President Harris, thank you.
Trump just be saying some wild shit,
Every
though.
one of those cases was started by them against their political opponent. And I'm winning most of them, and I will win the rest on appeal. And you saw
Do you think
that
at
with
this
the
point
decision
Trump is
that
just
came down
running
just recently from the Supreme
purely
Court.
for the ego?
I'm winning most of them. But those are cases, it's called weaponization. Never happened
I'm a Trump
in this
supporter, but
country.
Kamala could
They
be her
weaponized the
not gonna lie.
Justice Department.
Interesting.
Every one of those cases
Yeah, she's
was
doing a lot better
involved
than
with
I
the
thought, man.
DOJ, from Atlanta and Fani Willis to the Attorney General of New York and the DA in New York. Every one of those cases. And then they say, oh, he's a criminal. They're the ones that made them go after me. By the way, Joe Biden was found essentially guilty on the documents case. And what happened in my documents case? They said, oh, that's the toughest of them all. A complete and total victory. 2 months ago, it was thrown out. It's weaponization, and they used it.
These polls
and it's
are really
never happened
interesting,
in this
by
country.
the way.
They used it to try and win an election.
President
They're
Trump,
fake cases.
President Trump, thank you. A really quick response here, Vice President Harris, on this notion of weaponization of the
She's
Justice
a senator
Department.
before and a judge or a
let's
lawyer.
talk
Of course,
about
she should know how to
extreme
debate.
and
That is
understand
true.
the context in which this election in 2024 is taking place. The United States Supreme Court recently ruled that the former president would essentially be immune from any misconduct if he were to enter the White House again. Understand, this is
There's a protest going on outside the venue.
because certainly we know now the court won't stop him. We know J.D. Vance is not going to stop him. It's up to the American people.
Vice President
stop
Harris,
him.
thank you. Lindsay?
Vice President Harris, in your last run for president.
This is the one that weaponized, not me. She weaponized.
A lot to get to. Lindsay?
Vice President Harris, in your last run for president, you said you wanted to ban fracking. Now you don't. You wanted mandatory government buyback programs for assault weapons. Now your campaign
I feel like the
says
moderators
you
have been doing
You
a decent
supported
job.
decriminalizing border crossings. Now you're taking a harder
Just
line.
finished
I
up
know
Talk
you say
Tua
that
and
your
Dan.
values
They aren't
have not
even in the
changed.
same league.
So then why have so many of your
Talk
policy
Tua is
positions changed?
covering this.
So my values have not changed, and I'm going to discuss every one of the, at least every point that you've made. But in particular, let's talk about fracking because we're here in Pennsylvania. I made that very clear in 2020. I will not ban fracking. I have not banned fracking as Vice President of the United States. And in fact, I was the tie-breaking
Wait, what
vote
the hell is
on the
Talk
Inflation
Tua?
Reduction Act, which opened new leases for fracking. My position is that we have got to invest in diverse sources of energy so we reduce our reliance on foreign oil. We have had the largest increase in domestic oil production in history because of an approach that recognizes that we cannot over-rely on foreign oil. As it relates to my values, let me tell you,
Yeah,
I grew
fracking
up
is
a
getting natural
middle-class
gas to the
kid,
ground.
raised by a hardworking mother who worked and saved and was able to buy our first home when I
The
was a
craziest
teenager.
shit though is
The values I bring to the importance of home
Dude,
ownership,
you know she
knowing
was
not
like the
everybody
most
got
like
handed
unpopular vice
$400 million
president.
on a silver platter and then filed bankruptcy six
And then like
times.
you know,
Is a value that I
like,
bring
she
to
tried
my
to
work
run as also
to
like
say
a
we are
president
going
in
to work with
2020.
the private sector and home builders.
And like I don't think
to
she even made like the primaries.
3
Like,
million
wildly
homes,
unpopular.
increased by 3
It's
million
so
homes by the
crazy
end of
how
my
much
first
like the
term.
media can like
My work
influence like
that is
people's
related
perception
to
about
having
someone.
a friend when I was in high school who was sexually
crazy,
assaulted
man.
by her stepfather. And my focus then on protecting women and children from violent crime is based on a value that is deeply grounded in the importance of standing up for those who are most vulnerable. My work that is about protecting
Vice
Social
President doesn't have
Security and
much power.
Medicare
Yeah, that is true.
is based
Like,
on
what is it even
long-standing
for?
work that I have done, protecting seniors from scams. My values have not changed. And
Trump
what is
doing, like, the
important is
Sigma
that there
face.
is a president who actually brings values and a perspective that is about lifting people up and not beating people down. And name calling.
Talk to a
The
reaction.
true
Did she
measure
cover
of
it
the
or what?
leader is the leader who actually understands the strength is not in beating people down, it's in lifting people up. I intend to be that president.
President Trump, your
Well,
response?
first of all, I wasn't given $400 million. I wish I was. My father was a Brooklyn builder, Brooklyn, Queens, and a great father, and I learned a lot from him. But I was given a fraction of that, a tiny fraction, and I built it into many, many billions of dollars, many, many billions. And when people see it, they are even surprised. So we don't have to talk about that. Fracking, she's been against it for 12 years. Defund the police, she's been against that forever. She gave all that stuff up very wrongly, very horribly, and everybody's laughing at it, okay? They're all laughing at it. She gave up at least 12 and probably 14 or 15 different policies. Like, she was big on defund the police. In Minnesota, she went out, wait a minute, I'm talking now, if you don't mind, please. Does that sound familiar? She went out.
Oh my God.
She went out in Minnesota and wanted to let criminals that killed people, that burned down Minneapolis.
That was
She
weird.
went out and raised money to get them out of jail. She
That
did
was
things
weird,
that
man.
nobody would ever think of. Now she wants to do transgender operations on illegal aliens that are in prison. This is a radical left liberal that would do this. She wants
That's
to
a little
confiscate your guns, and she will
exuberant.
never allow fracking in
But the
Pennsylvania.
I'm talking now was
if she
fucking
won the
hilarious.
election, fracking in Pennsylvania will end on day one. Just to
Bro,
finish one
I'm not
thing
gonna be on
so
fucking
important in my
Talk to Her.
opinion. So
Get the fuck
I got
outta
the
here
oil
with that.
business going like nobody has ever done before. When they took over, they got rid of it, started getting rid of it, and the prices were going
Yeah,
up
bro really said shut the
roof.
fuck up.
They immediately let these guys go to where they were. I would have been 5 times, 4 times, 5 times higher, because you're talking about 3.5 years ago. They got it up to where I was because they had no choice, because the prices of energy were quadrupling.
Yeah, what the
and
hell was
doubling.
the
You saw
whole
what happened to gasoline.
giving foreign
so they
alien
said, let's
sex
go back to
changes?
Trump.
Like, what
but
the
if
hell?
she won the election, the day after that election, they'll go back to destroying
Transgender
our
operations
country,
on
and
illegal
oil will be
immigrants in
dead,
prison.
fossil fuel will be dead. We'll go
Even
back
if that
to
is
windmills,
happening,
and we'll go
why
back
is that
to
a
solar,
issue to bring
where
up?
they need a whole desert to get some energy to come out. You ever see a solar
chat,
plant?
who's
By the
winning?
way, I'm a big fan of solar, but they take 400,
Hi, it's my turn to speak.
500
Thanks for the $5,
acres
Lord
of
Merrick.
desert
Appreciate that,
President
bro.
Trump, we have a
These
lot
are
of
not good
issues
things
that we
for the
have to get
environment
to.
that
We're
she
out of time.
understands.
Thank you.
Lindsay, thank you. We have an election in just 56 days. And I want to talk about the peaceful transfer of power, which, of course, we all know is a cornerstone of our democracy, and the role of a president in a moment of crisis. Mr. President, on January 6th, you told your supporters to march to the Capitol. You
who's
said
a
you
better
would be
yapper
right
right
there
now?
with them. The country and the
I'm
world
not gonna
saw
lie,
what
Trump
played out
is,
at the Capitol that day.
he
The
ain't
officers
bringing the
coming
energy,
under
man.
attack. Aides in the West Wing say you
bringing
watched
the
it
energy.
unfold on television off
Also,
the
chat,
Oval
W
Office.
to Lord Merrick for
You
that
did send
dono.
out tweets, but it was more than 2 hours before you sent out that video message telling your supporters to go home. Is there anything you regret about what you did on that day?
You just said a thing that isn't covered. Peacefully and patriotically, I said during my speech, not later on. Peacefully and patriotically. And nobody on the other side was killed.
Yap
Ashley
University.
Babbitt was shot by an out-of-control police officer that should have never, ever shot her. It's a disgrace. But we didn't do this group of people that have been treated so badly. I ask, what about all the people that are pouring into our country and killing people that she allowed to pour in? She was the border czar, remember that. She was the border czar. She doesn't want to be called the border czar because she's embarrassed by the border. In fact, she said at the beginning, "Oh, I'm surprised you're not
Dude,
talking
that
about
is such
the
a
border yet."
good
That's
tactic
because
to
she
like,
knows what a
because he
bad
knows
job
the
they've
media
done.
so well,
What about
right?
those people?
How to like
When are
manipulate
they
the
gonna be
media,
prosecuted? When are
predicting
these
what the media
people
will
from
say.
countries
And I
all
think
over
like
the
a
world, not
common
just
tactic
South
that he
America,
uses is obviously
they're
like
coming in
creating
from
nicknames for
all
people, right? Like
over
Sleepy
the
Joe.
world,
Like
David,
that
all over the
automatically
world.
creates like a
And crime
perception
rates
in
are down
someone.
all over the
Like
world because of it.
But let me just-
when
Like,
are
that
those-
is so,
David,
like,
when are those
powerful.
people going to be prosecuted? When
So
are
if
the
you
people
ever
that
want to
burned
give
down
dirt to someone,
Minneapolis
like
gonna be
making up like those like
prosecuted? Or in
nicknames,
Seattle,
I feel
they
like
went
is
into
the best way
Seattle,
to do
They took
it.
over a big percentage
You know?
of the city of
No one
Seattle.
talks about that
When
enough.
are those people going to be prosecuted?
It must be like one of those like
But let me just
48
ask you,
laws
you
of
might ask her
power.
that question.
You were the president. You were watching it unfold on television. It's a very simple question as we move forward toward another election. Is there anything you regret about what you did on that day? Yes or no?
I had nothing to do with that other than they asked me to make a speech. I showed up for a speech. I said, I think it's going to be big. I went to Nancy Pelosi and the mayor of Washington, D.C., and the
What's a
mayor
nickname
put it
for
back
me,
in writing,
chat?
as you know. I said,
Besides forehead.
this is going to be a very big rally or whatever you want to call it. And again, it wasn't done by me. It was done by others.
Yeah, I mean,
I
January
said,
6th isn't
I'd like
his
to
fault,
give you
is it?
10,000 National Guard
Like,
or
was
soldiers.
Was it him
They
that
rejected me.
galvanized that?
Nancy Pelosi rejected me. It was just 2 weeks ago. Her daughter has a tape of her saying she is fully responsible for what happened. They want to get rid of that tape.
Five-head is
It would
crazy.
have never happened if
Mega
Nancy
mind is
Pelosi and the
crazy.
mayor of Washington did their jobs. I wasn't responsible for security. Nancy Pelosi was responsible. She didn't do her job.
The question was about you as president, not about former Speaker Pelosi, but I do want Vice President Harris to respond here.
I was at the Capitol on January 6th. I was the vice president-elect. I was
Six-head is
also
wild.
an acting senator. I was there.
And forehead more.
And
is
on
wild.
that day, the president of the
Who has a
United
bigger
States
forehead, me or
incited a
Kamala?
violent mob to attack our nation's capital,
All right, my
to
chat's pretty funny.
desecrate our nation's
Y'all
capital.
are funny.
On that day, 140 law enforcement officers were injured, and some died. And understand, the former president has been indicted and impeached for exactly that reason. But this is not an isolated situation. Let's remember Charlottesville, where there was a mob of people carrying tiki torches, spewing anti-Semitic hate. And what did the president then at the time say? There were fine people on each side. Let's remember that when it came to the Proud Boys, a militia, the president said, the former president said, stand back and stand by.
Are we lagging, chat?
So for everyone watching who remembers what January 6th was, I say we don't have to go back. Let's not go back.
Yo,
We're not
thank you,
going back.
Lapis. I almost
It's
got bingo
time
on my
to
bingo
turn
card
the
for tonight's
page.
debate. Appreciate
And
that,
if
man.
that was a bridge too far for you, well, there is a place in our campaign for you to stand for country, to stand for our democracy, to stand for rule of law, and to end the chaos, and to end the approach that is about attacking the foundations of our democracy because you don't like the outcome. And be clear on that point. Donald Trump, the candidate, has said in this election there will be a bloodbath if this and the outcome of this election is not to his liking. Let's turn the page on this. Let's not go back. Let's chart a course for the future and not go backwards to the past.
Let me just follow up here.
It was a different term, and it was a term that related to energy because they have destroyed our energy business. That was where bloodbath was. Also, on Charlottesville, that story has been, as you would say, debunked.
I think they did
Laura
take away
Ingram, Sean
get the
Hannity, Jesse, all
Trump
of
statements
these
like out of
people,
context.
They covered
the whole
it.
bloodbath
If they go
thing.
an
Yeah,
extra
like that's not
sentence, they
fair.
will see
That
it
is
was
not
perfect.
fair.
It was
She was like
debunked in
not.
almost every
He was talking about
newspaper,
fucking climate
but they
or
still
some
bring
shit.
it up, just like they bring 2025 up. They bring all of this stuff up. I ask you this: you talk about
That was
the
a blatant
Capitol.
lie.
Why are we allowing these millions of people to come through
This
on
chat
the
is so
southern
conservative.
border?
Yeah.
How come she's not doing it?
I think it
And I'll
is.
tell you what I would do, and I would be
Definitely
very
leans
proud
more
to
on
do
the
it.
right.
I would say we would both leave this debate right now. I'd like to see her go down to Washington, D.C. during this debate because we're wasting a lot of time. Go down to, because she's been so bad, it's so ridiculous. Go down to Washington, D.C. and let her sign a bill to close up the border because they have the right to do it. They don't need bills. They have the right to do it. The president
one
of
is
the
answering
United
these
States,
damn
you'll get him
questions.
out of bed, you'll wake him up at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you'll say, come on down to the office, let's sign a bill. If he signs a bill that the border is closed, all he has to do is say it to the Border Patrol, who are phenomenal. If they do that, the border is closed.
Mr.
Those
President,
people are killing many people,
wanna-
unlike J6.
We talked immigration here tonight. I do want to focus on this next issue
Trump
both of you,
getting
because it really
triggered?
brings us this into focus, truth in
love
these
your
times
shit,
that
Gen,
we're
but
living
this
in.
might be crazy.
Mr. President, for 3.5 years after
Why do you
you,
feel like your
lost
chat
the
is more
2020
learned,
election, you
Damien?
repeatedly
I think it's just the topics that I
falsely claimed
cover.
that you won, many times saying you won
Probably
in a
more
landslide.
conservative-leaning
In the past
people
couple of
wanna
weeks
hear
leading
about
up to
it,
this
to be
debate, you have said, quote, you lost by a whisker, that you, quote, didn't quite make it, that you came up a little bit short.
It makes sense.
I said that?
Are you now acknowledging that you lost in 2020?
No, I don't acknowledge that at all.
But
I
you
said
did
that
say that.
sarcastically.
But
You know
those-
that. It was said, oh, we lost by a whisker. That was said sarcastically.
Is there a switch on my back or something?
There's so much proof. All you have to do is look at it. And they should have sent it back to the legislatures for approval.
Chad, like this,
I got almost 75 million votes,
stream,
the most votes any sitting president has ever gotten. I was told if I got 63, which was what I got in 2016, you can't be beaten. The election,
where do you see yourself in terms of left or right
people should never be thinking about an election as fraudulent. We need two things. We need walls.
I'll share that then with this
and we have to have it. We have to have borders, and we have to have good elections. Our elections are bad. And a lot of these illegal immigrants coming in, they're trying to get them to vote. They can't even speak English. They don't even know what country they're in practically. And these people are trying to get them to vote. And that's why they're allowing them to come into our country.
I did watch.
You can still see like the hint of Trump being wild as fuck and saying wild shit. But he's definitely a lot more tame
And we
now.
should just point out here as clarification, and you know this.
Getting your moderation with that one YouTube channel was really good.
Yeah, many judges, many of them
no judge
Republican,
looked at it.
And said
they
there was
said
no
we didn't have
widespread fraud.
standing. That's the other thing. They said we didn't have standing, a technicality.
To be honest, I feel like the moderators are giving more leeway to Trump, which is surprising because ABC is more left-leaning. But moderators have been quite fair.
That's how we lost. If you look at the facts, and I'd love to have you'll do a special on it. I'll show you Georgia, and I'll show you Wisconsin, and I'll show you Pennsylvania, and I'll show you. We have so many facts and
Gennins
statistics.
and somebody's never answered the question politically and gain more viewers and be biased. No, I'll let you know my stance. That's actually a shift that I'm making.
The problem that we have right now
Please
is
stop
we have
yapping.
a
Sorry.
nation in decline, and they have put it into decline. We have a nation that is dying, David.
Mr. President, thank you. Vice President Harris, you heard the president there tonight. He said he didn't say that he lost by a whisker. So he still believes he did not lose the election that was won by President Biden.
Also, Chad, we hit a live stream
yourself.
record so far.
But I do want to ask you about something that's come up in the last couple of days. This was a post from President Trump about this upcoming election just weeks away. He said, when I win, those people who cheated, and then he lists donors, voters, election officials, he says will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, which will include long-term prison sentences. One of your campaign's top lawyers responded saying, we won't let Donald Trump intimidate us. We won't let him suppress the vote. Is that what you believe he's trying to do here?
Donald Trump was fired by 81 million people. So let's be clear about that. And clearly he is having a very difficult time processing that. But we cannot afford to have a president of the United States who attempts, as he did in the past, to upend the will of the voters in a free and fair election. And I'm going to tell you that I have traveled the world as Vice President of the United States, and world leaders are laughing at Donald Trump. I have talked with military leaders, some of whom worked with you.
I can say something about this because, like, I remember during what 2016, 2020, when Trump was president, and also my shit's lagging.
Election. It leads one to believe.
Every time I would tell people I'm American, they would always first bring up Trump. Like, oh my God, your country's going to shit. Like, Trump is your president. So I did see that, at least in like a very small sample size amongst like other European, Australian travelers. They'd always be like, oh my God, I can't believe Trump is your president. But I feel like in terms of respect, I bet you Trump probably commands more respect amongst world leaders than like fucking Biden.
Smart. Prime Minister of Hungary.
Are you guys even hearing me, or is everything being dropped right now?
Why is the whole world blowing up? 3 years ago it wasn't. Why is it blowing up? He said, because you need Trump back as president. They were afraid of him. China was afraid, and I don't like to use the word afraid, but I'm just quoting him. China was afraid of him. North Korea was afraid of him. Look at what's going on with North Korea, by the way. He said Russia was afraid of him. I ended the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, and Biden put it back on day one, but he ended the XL pipeline. The XL pipeline in our country, he ended that. But he let the Russians build a pipeline going all over Europe and heading into Germany. The biggest pipeline in the world.
It's like I'm on Stream East or something. Pirating like a basketball game.
Said it. He said the most respected, most feared person is Donald Trump. We had no problems when Trump was president. But when this weak, pathetic man that you saw at a debate just a few months ago, that if he weren't in that debate, he'd be running instead of her. She got no votes. He got 14 million votes. What you did, you talk about a threat to democracy. He got 14 million votes, and they threw him out of office. And you know what? I'll give you a little secret. He hates her. He can't stand her. But he got 14 million votes. They threw him out. She got 0 votes. And when she ran, She was the first one to leave because she failed.
That's probably
and
true.
now she's running. I don't understand it, but I'm okay with it because
your time is up.
I think we're going to do very well.
We've got a lot more to get to.
Turning now to the Israel-Hamas war and the hostages who are still being held, Americans among them. Vice President Harris, in December, you said, quote, Israel has a right to defend itself, but you added, quote, it matters how, saying international humanitarian law must be respected. Israel must do more to protect innocent civilians. You said that 9 months ago. Now an estimated 40,000 Palestinians are dead. Nearly 100 hostages remain.
The fact is,
just last
let's
week,
be real.
Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu
Both candidates are going to dodge
this question. There's not a deal in the making. President Biden has not been able to break through the stalemate.
Let's be real.
How would you do it?
Well, let's understand how we got here. On October 7, Hamas,
swear to God, a fucking
terrorist
ABC
organization, slaughtered 1,200 Israelis. Many of them young people who were simply attending a concert. Women were horribly raped. And so absolutely, I said then, I say now, Israel has a right to defend itself. We would. And how it does so matters. Because it is also true.
I'm actually curious, where do you guys lie in this
innocent Palestinians have been killed.
The whole
children,
war.
Mothers. What we know is
probably
that
the most controversial
this war
topic.
must end. It must end immediately, and the way it will end is we need a ceasefire deal and we need the hostages out. And so we will continue to work around the clock on that. Work around the clock, also understanding that we must chart a course for a two-state solution. And
I don't know if
that
that's possible,
solution, there must be security for the Israeli people and Israel,
because I
and
know,
an
like,
equal
the left
measure
is
for the
definitely more
Palestinians. But the one thing I will
Palestine,
assure
right?
you always, I will always give Israel the ability to defend itself, in particular as it relates to Iran and any threat that Iran and its proxies pose to Israel. But we must
War is
have a
brutal by
two-state
nature. I don't support
solution
anyone.
where we
Yeah,
can
it's the
rebuild
right
Gaza,
answer, honestly.
where the Palestinians have security, self-determination, and the dignity they so rightly deserve.
President Trump, how would you negotiate with Netanyahu and also Hamas in order to get the hostages out and prevent the killing of more innocent civilians in Gaza?
If I were president, it would have never
nobody
started.
wins in a war, man.
If I were president, Russia would have never, ever, I know Putin very well, he would have never, and there was no threat of it either, by the way, for 4 years, have gone into Ukraine and killed millions of people when you add it up. Far worse than people understand what's going on over there.
About that Russian
but
thing,
when
though?
she mentions about Israel, all of a sudden, she hates Israel. She wouldn't even meet with Netanyahu when he went to Congress to make a very important speech. She refused to be there because she was at a sorority party of hers. She wanted to go to the sorority party. She hates Israel.
I think the biggest thing is, let's be honest, both candidates do support Israel,
2 years
but with
from
Kamala,
now, and I've been pretty good at
she
predictions,
has
and I hope I'm wrong
to, I guess,
about
pander
that
a little
one.
bit more to
She
the
hates Israel.
Palestinian
At
side.
the same time, in her
because
own way,
I think the left
she hates the Arab
galvanizes
population
more towards
because
free
the
Palestine.
whole place is going to get blown up. Arabs, Jewish people, Israel will be gone. It would have never happened. Iran was broke under Donald Trump. Now Iran has $300 billion because they took off all the sanctions that I had. Iran had no money for Hamas or Hezbollah or any of the 28 different spheres of terror. And they are spheres of terror, horrible terror. They had no money.
Is going pure
it was a
Trump
big
this
story,
stream?
and you know
No,
it. You
not
covered
true.
it very well, actually.
I think Kamala's
They
been
had
doing actually really well.
money for terror. They were broke. Now
But I
they're
will
a
say who
rich
I am gonna
nation,
vote for.
and now what they're doing is
RFK
they're
dropped out
spreading
and
that money around.
endorsed Trump.
Look at what's happening with the Houthis and Yemen.
Yo, she is sweating. She's sweating. Yeah, the memes always after the debates are funny. Chat, if you want, join our Discord. Where the fuck are my mods? Mods, put the Discord link and you guys can put the memes in there. Where the fuck are my mods?
And it is absolutely well known that these dictators and autocrats are rooting for you to be president again because they're so clear they can manipulate you with flattery and
mods,
favors. And that is why so many military leaders who you have worked with have told me you are a disgrace. That is why we understand that we have to have a president who is not consistently weak and wrong on national security, including the importance of upholding and respecting in highest regard our military.
Vice President Harris, thank you.
They're the ones, and she's the one that caused it, that's weak on national security by allowing every nation last month for the year, 168 different countries sending people into our country. Their crime rates are way down. Putin endorsed her last week, said, I hope she wins. And I think he meant it, because what he's gotten away with is absolutely incredible. It wouldn't have happened with me. The leaders of other countries think that they're weak and incompetent, and they are. They're grossly incompetent. And I just ask one question. Why does Biden go in and kill the Keystone Pipeline and approve the single biggest deal that Russia's ever made, Nord Stream 2, the biggest pipeline anywhere in the world going to Germany and all over Europe?
Yeah, I'm playing fucking moderator too.
Because they're
also,
weak
chat,
and they're
join the Discord because I need fucking new mods. Fuck my mods.
Thank you. We have a lot of issues to get to.
We'll be right back with much more of this historic ABC News presidential debate from the National Constitution Center right here in Philadelphia.
Intermission time. Chat. Let's hear it. 1 in the chat for Trump, 2 in the chat for Kamala. If you've just been watching, if you've just been focusing, if you've just been trying to hear the debate during the app sessions, let me know. Let me just lower this volume real quick. But I want to hear what you guys are thinking. It hasn't been that entertaining of a what's it called? Debate so far though, right? Also, chat, join that Discord group. I'm looking for new mods. I'm firing my mods currently. Here, let me turn this down. Chat, well, what do you think? What do you think? 1? Okay, a lot of 1s. Definitely right leaning. Okay, 1. 2, 1. Okay. I've been entertained by chat. See, yeah, guys, this is the superior way to watch fucking anything. Like, let's be real, right? So much more fun. Also, chat, all 300 of you, follow me on X right now. Okay, you guys can chill with that. Okay, 2. All right. Okay. Damn. So I do see a lot more 1s, but Kamala did better than expected. I completely agree with that. When will we get an answer on the ice cream issue? What does that mean? Trump dominated the second half of the debate besides Israel. Yeah, fair enough. How to apply for the mod position? Join our Discord and then shoot me a message. Also, follow me on X because my fucking Instagram got banned. My fucking Instagram got banned, so I'm gonna need y'all to join the Twitter. Yeah, it's super unfortunate, but we gonna get it back. Do mods get paid? No. It's slavery. All right, guys. Okay, cool. Okay, so let's do a quick recap. So what's been talked about so far? They talked about abortion, they talked about Israel-Palestine. Let's see. What else did they talk about? The border crisis, Haitians eating cats again. I'm just happy that the cat dog eating accusations are off the Asians' back. So we as the Asian people have to thank the Haitians on this one. Yeah, being a Gen mod is like working at a Sheen factory. Except it's probably better working at a Sheen factory. Okay, let's see. Again, who do you think is winning? I gotta say, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like Kamala has done better, like in terms of like answering the questions, in terms of actually, yeah, answering the questions, and just like maybe it's more so like surprise, but I think she's done like a lot better than I would have expected. 3 a.m. in the UK, can't miss a live from the GOAT. Colin Mansfield, very, very British name. I appreciate that. All love. Thank you so much. Chat, join the, follow the Twitter. Another thing too, chat, is I am launching something soon. So for those that are interested, I would love for you guys to, man, like you see I'm like handling all this shit. Your mic is bad. Are we lagging? We lagging? We good now? Yeah, my internet's fucked. Chat, where are we at? Your mic is lagging. What the fuck is going on? Oh, debate started again? Where we at? Where we at, chat? Okay, hold on. Okay, hold on. Okay, chat, where we at? We good?
Presidential debate tonight. We're going to continue here, and I want to turn to the war in Ukraine. We're now 2.5 years.
It's crazy that they have intermissions. Like
Mr. President, it has been the position of the Biden administration that we must defend Ukraine from Russia, from Vladimir Putin, to defend their sovereignty, their democracy, that it's in America's best interest to do so, arguing that if Putin wins, he may be emboldened to move even further into other countries.
Bro, whole stream is lagging? Yo, what the fuck is going on, bro? Yo, what's going on? I have it back. Are you getting DDoS'd? I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Do you guys see me now? Wow. Chat, hold up. Chat, don't leave. I have literally perfect Wi-Fi. So I don't know what's going on. Fuck. Chat, are y'all with me right now? What the fuck is going on? Dude, chat, I'm using the best Wi-Fi. Hold on.
Is I'll speak to one, I'll speak to the other, I'll get them together.
Okay, we're back.
That
war
would have never happened. And in fact, when I saw Putin after I left,
we're chilling.
Unfortunately, left because our country has gone to hell. But after I left, when I saw him building up soldiers, he did it after I left. I said, oh, he must be negotiating. It must be a good, strong point of negotiation. Well, it wasn't, because Biden had no idea how to talk to him. He had no idea how to stop it. And now you have millions of people dead, and it's only getting worse, and it could lead to World War III. Don't kid yourself, David. We're playing with World War III, and we have a president that we don't even know if he's... Where is our president? We don't even know if he's a president.
And just to clarify
they threw him out of a campaign like a dog.
All right, we're good. We're
back. Is he our president? But
fuck! Yo! Chat, is there a better? Hold on. Someone said,
and just get it done.
All right.
Negotiate a deal, because we have to stop all of these human lives from being destroyed.
I want to take this to Vice President Harris. I want to get your thoughts on support for Ukraine in this moment, but also as Commander-in-Chief, if elected, how would you deal with Vladimir Putin, and would it be any different from what we're seeing from President Biden?
Well, first of all, it's important to remind the former president you're not running against Joe Biden, you're running against me. I believe the reason that Donald Trump says that this war would be over within 24 hours is because he would just give it up. And that's not who we are as Americans. Let's understand what happened here. I actually met with Zelensky a few days before Russia invaded, tried through force to change territorial boundaries, to defy one of the most important international rules and norms, which is the importance of sovereignty and territorial integrity. And I met with President Zelensky. I shared with him American intelligence about how he could defend himself. Days later, I went to NATO's eastern flank, to Poland and Romania. And through the work that I and others did, we brought 50 countries together to support Ukraine in its righteous defense. And because of our support, because of the air defense, the ammunition, the artillery, the javelins, the Abrams tanks that we have provided, Ukraine stands as an independent and free country. If Donald Trump were president, Putin would be sitting in Kyiv right now. And understand what that would mean, because Putin's agenda is not just about Ukraine. Understand why the European allies and our NATO allies are so thankful that you are no longer president, and that we understand the importance of the greatest military alliance the world has ever known, which is NATO.
I'm chilling.
And what we have done to preserve the ability of Zelensky and the Ukrainians to fight for their independence. Otherwise, Putin would be sitting in Kyiv with his eyes on the rest of Europe, starting with Poland. And why don't you tell the 800,000 Polish Americans right here in Pennsylvania how quickly you would give up for the sake of favor and what you think is a friendship with what is known to be a dictator who would eat you for lunch.
Vice President Harris, thank you. We've heard from both of you on Ukraine tonight. Afghanistan came up in the last hour. I wanted her to respond to something you said earlier, and please, I'll give you a minute here.
Putin would be sitting in Moscow, and he wouldn't have lost 300,000 men and women, but he would have been sitting in Moscow. Quiet, please. He would have been sitting in Moscow much happier than he is right now.
Quiet, please.
But eventually, you know, he's got a thing that other people don't have. He's got nuclear weapons. They don't ever talk about that. He's got nuclear weapons. Nobody ever thinks about that. And eventually, maybe he'll use them, and maybe he hasn't been that threatening, but he does have that. Something we don't even like to talk about. Nobody likes to talk about it. But just so you understand, they sent her to negotiate peace before this war started. 3 days later, he went in and he started the war because everything they said was weak and stupid.
We lost like half our viewers because of that bullshit.
That war should have never started. She was the emissary. They sent her in to negotiate with Zelensky and Putin, and she did. And the war started 3 days later. And that's the kind of talent we have with her. She's worse than Biden. In my opinion, I think he's the worst president in the history of our country. She goes down as the worst vice president in the history of our country. But let me tell you something. She is a horrible negotiator. They sent her in to negotiate as soon as they left. Putin did the invasion.
President Trump, thank you. You did bring up something. You said she went to negotiate with Vladimir Putin. Vice President Harris, have you ever met Vladimir Putin?
That's true. All the real ones are still here, though.
Yet again, I said it at the beginning of this debate, you're going to hear a bunch of lies coming from this fellow. And that is another one. When I went to meet with President Zelensky, I've now met with him over 5 times. The reality is it has been about standing as America always should, as a leader upholding international rules and norms, as a leader who shows strength, understanding that the alliances we have around the world are dependent on our ability to look out for our friends and not favor our enemies because you adore strongmen instead of caring about democracy. And that is very much what is at stake here.
What the hell?
The President of the United States is commander-in-chief. And the American people have a right to rely
on
a president who understands the significance of America's role and
I've heard like
responsibility
YouTube does this shit.
in terms of ensuring that there is stability
Man,
and
that's so
ensuring we
annoying.
stand up for our principles and not
Does it
sell
just like
them
keep like going
for the,
out like
for
out
the
of nowhere?
benefit of personal flattery.
We've talked about Ukraine and Vladimir Putin. I do want to talk about Afghanistan. It came up in the first hour of this debate. I wanted to move on to Afghanistan.
Stoltenberg said Trump did the most amazing thing I've ever seen.
To be honest,
He
I
got
feel like
these
Trump is
countries,
getting more
the
mic
28
time, no?
countries at the time
Being
to
able to
pay
like
up.
intervene.
He said, I've never seen. He's the head of NATO. He said, I've never seen. For years, we were paying almost all of NATO. We were being ripped off by European nations, both on trade and on NATO. I got them to pay up by saying one of the statements you made before, if you don't pay, we're not going to protect you.
President
Otherwise,
Trump.
we would have never gotten it.
Which
he
is
said
fair.
It was one of the most incredible jobs that he's ever seen.
We are spending
done.
a lot on our
Thank you.
military.
I want to turn to Afghanistan. It came up in the first hour of the debate, and we witnessed a poignant moment today.
He's
on
getting
Capitol
more
Hill,
mic time
honoring
because
the
that's
soldiers
worse
who
for his
died
image. I mean,
in
that's
the
still
chaotic
his
withdrawal
fault.
from
That's his
Afghanistan. I do want to ask the
how
Vice
he's gonna
President,
represent himself.
do you believe you bear any responsibility in the way that withdrawal played out?
Well, I will tell you, I agreed with President Biden's decision to pull out of Afghanistan.
Man, I'm butthurt.
Four
We lost like a
presidents
third of our viewers
said they
because
would,
of the lag.
and Joe Biden did. And as a result, America's taxpayers are not paying the $300 million a day we were paying for that
I'm
endless
butthurt
war.
about that. Oh, it's all
And
good. It's all
as of
good.
today, there is not one member of the United States military who is in active duty in a combat zone in any war zone around the world, the first time this century. But let's understand how we got to where we are. Donald Trump, when he was president,
That's true. Fake ops are leaving, real ones are
negotiated
staying. That's
one
that's
of the
fact.
weakest deals you can imagine. He calls himself a deal maker. Even his national security advisor said it was a
You guys keep getting
weak,
kicked out of the
terrible
stream?
deal. And here's how it went down. He bypassed the Afghan government. He negotiated directly with
Yes,
a
you are,
terrorist
Fana.
organization
Yes, you are.
called the Taliban. The negotiation involved the Taliban getting 5,000 Taliban terrorists released. And get this, and the president at the time invited the Taliban to Camp David, a place of storied significance for us as Americans, a place where we honor the importance of American diplomacy, where we invite and receive respected world leaders. And this former president, as president, invited them to Camp David because he does not again appreciate the role and responsibility of the President of the United States to be commander-in-chief with a level of respect. And this gets back to the point of how he has consistently disparaged and demeaned members of our military, fallen soldiers, and the work that we must do to uphold the strength and the respect of the United States of America around
chat.
the world.
I'm going to change this.
Thank you. President Trump, your response.
I'm going to
her
change
saying
this.
that you began the negotiations with the Taliban.
ABC,
So,
the next time it crashes,
if you take a look at that
we're just going to
period of
choose
time,
another one. It's pissing me
The
off.
Taliban was killing our soldiers, a lot of them, with snipers. And I got involved with the Taliban because the Taliban was doing the killing. That's the fighting force within Afghanistan. They don't bother doing that because, you know, they deal with the wrong people all the time. But I got involved. And Abdul is the head of the Taliban. He is still the head of the Taliban. And I told Abdul, don't do it anymore. You do it anymore.
Guys,
you're gonna
remember
have
when like
problems.
ISIS or like
And
the
he said, why
Taliban
do you
used to
send
be
me
like
a
our
picture
biggest
of
op?
my house? I said, you're going to have to figure that out, Abdul.
I feel like I never
And
hear
for
about that
18
anymore.
months, we had nobody killed. We did have an agreement negotiated by Mike Pompeo. It was a very good agreement. The reason it was good, it was we were getting out. We would have been out faster than them, but we wouldn't have lost the soldiers. We wouldn't have left many Americans behind, and we wouldn't have left.
Yes, Al Qaeda too.
$85 billion worth of brand new, beautiful military equipment
Joseph
behind.
Kony.
And just
What
to
the
finish, they blew it. The agreement said you have to do this, and they didn't do it. They didn't do it. The agreement was terminated by us.
I miss 2012 when our biggest op was fucking Joseph
Kony. What they
Kony.
were supposed to do.
I want to move
Like
on.
a
These
fucking child
people
soldier
did the
leader.
worst withdrawal, and in my opinion, the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. And by the way, that's why Russia attacked Ukraine, because they saw how incompetent she and her boss are.
President Trump, thank you.
It's so funny
how
how
now to
he
race
just
and
refers to
politics in this
Biden as
country.
her boss.
Mr. President, you recently said of
Did
Vice
anyone
President
catch
Harris,
that?
quote, I didn't know she was black
He's
until
not
a number
calling
of
him
years ago
Sleepy,
when she happened
Sleepy
to turn
Joe.
black, and now she wants to be known
Blah, blah,
as black.
blah. He's just
I
saying
want to ask
her
a bigger
boss.
picture question here tonight. Why do you
shit's
believe
funny.
it's appropriate to weigh in on the racial identity of your opponent?
I don't, and I don't care. I don't care what she is. I don't care. You make a big deal out of something. I couldn't care less. Whatever she wants to be is okay with me.
But those were your words, so I'm asking.
I don't know. I mean, all I can say is I read where she was not black, that she put out, and I'll say that. And then I read that she was black, and that's okay. Either one was okay with me. That's up to her. That's up to her.
Vice President Harris,
It's a good response.
I think it's, I mean, honestly, I think it's a tragedy that we have someone who wants to be president who has
Yeah, she did run as Indian in
consistently, over the course of
2020.
his career, attempted to use race to divide the American people. You know, I do believe that the vast majority of us know that we have so much more in common than what separates us, and we don't want
But that's
this kind of approach that is just constantly trying to divide us, and especially by race.
That's why I
And
say a
let's
lot
remember
of woke and racist people are the
how
same.
Donald Trump started.
You're
He
only
was
talking about race, and that's how you view
a-
everything through the lens of
land. He owned land. He owned
You're
buildings,
gonna divide people.
And he was investigated because he refused to rent property
Again, are you
to black
woke?
families.
What do you think?
Let's remember, this is the same individual who took out a full-page ad in the New York Times calling for the execution of 5 young black and Latino boys who were innocent, the Central Park 5. Took out a full-page ad calling for their execution. This is the same individual who spread birther lies about the first black president of the United States. And I think the American people want better than that, want better than this.
Fuck you, ABC. Fuck you.
We see in each other a friend. We see in each other a neighbor. We don't want a leader who is constantly
Okay, this is definitely like
trying
such a
to have
scripted
Americans
like
point their
talk, you know? Let's all be together. No more racism. Like, come on, bruh. Like, if you're playing a lot of identity
Fingers at
politics,
each
like,
other.
come on.
I meet with people all the time who tell me, can we please just have discourse about how we're going to invest in the aspirations and the ambition?
It's such a hard line, though, like, because obviously to combat racism, you have to talk
Not
about
in
race.
hate and division.
But I think
Vice
we've
President
gotten to a
Harris,
point now
thank
where
you.
we
Lindsay?
talk about it too
President Trump,
much,
this is
where
now
it
your third
perpetuates
time.
it.
This is the most divisive presidency in the history of our country.
Man,
There's
fuck
never been anything
ABC,
like it.
bro.
They're destroying
I'm about
our
to
country,
crash out. I swear to
and
God.
they come up with things like what she just said.
Fuck! 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 Oh my God. All right, fuck this. Guys, don't leave. We're gonna find a better fucking stream.
Hurt a person,
Fuck
killed a
these
person ultimately.
ABC
they
motherfuckers, bro.
blame-
We ain't
Guilty.
dealing with
Then
this
they
shit.
pled, we're not guilty.
We ain't dealing
But
with this
is
bullshit.
a person that has to
Fucking-
stretch back
let's see.
years,
Chat,
40,
don't leave.
50 years ago.
All right,
because
let's
there's
watch this.
nothing
Let's
now.
watch the YouTube version. It's probably gonna be better.
The American people, I believe in
All right,
what
hold
we
up,
can do
hold up.
to strengthen our small businesses, which is why I have a plan.
It's
Let's
way better.
talk about our plans and let's
Man,
compare
fuck
the plans.
ABC.
I have a plan to give startup businesses $50,000 tax deduction to pursue their ambitions, their
Man, I don't know why I didn't just
innovation,
go on
their
YouTube
ideas,
Live
their
earlier.
hard work.
Bro, I
have
even
a
bought like a
plan,
Hulu subscription for this
$6,000
bullshit, man.
For young families, for the first
Also,
year
we're
of your
getting back to
child's
normal,
life,
chat.
to help you in that most critical stage of your child's development. I have a plan that is about allowing people to be able to pursue what has been fleeting in terms of the American dream by offering
All right.
help with
See,
down
I
payment
think
of
as like the debate goes on,
$25,000
you can
down
tell
payment
that like the
assistance
scripted
for
stuff is
first-time
coming
home
out.
buyers.
I gotta say
That's the
now,
kind of conversation I believe, David,
if Trump can
that
like
people
actually like
really
answer
want
like the
tonight,
questions and not like
as
be all
opposed to a
ADHD and
conversation
shit.
that is constantly about belittling and name calling. Let's
Once you get
turn
copyright
the
from these streams,
page
yeah.
President
I mean,
Harris.
that's why I didn't turn on
Thank you. Let's turn to
monetization.
policy.
Chat.
Let's turn to
President
That's-
Trump,
I'm just here to
President
connect with
Trump.
y'all.
Let's turn to policy,
She has
please.
a plan to defund the police. She has a plan to confiscate everybody's gun.
Much love to you too, Nick Cunningham. Appreciate you joining.
In Pennsylvania or anywhere else.
Okay.
That's what her plan is until just recently.
I just need to respond
President
because
Trump,
the
President
former
Trump,
president has
no,
said
I'm
something
sorry.
twice that I need to
No,
respond to.
I'm sorry. We're going to move on, Vice President Harris.
To what he has
President
said
Trump, this is
multiple
now
times.
your third time running for president. You have long vowed to repeal and replace the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare. You have failed to accomplish that. You now say you're going to keep Obamacare, quote, unless we can do something much better. Correct. Last month, you said, quote, we're working on it. So tonight, 9 years after you first started running, do you have a plan? And can you tell us what it is?
Obamacare was lousy health care, always was. It's not very good today. And what I said, that if we come up with something, and we are working on things, we're going to do it and we're going to replace it. But remember this, I inherited Obamacare because Democrats wouldn't change it. They wouldn't vote for it. They were unanimous. They wouldn't vote to change it.
Why don't you do the whole, like,
if they would have done that,
shit?
we would have had a much better
actually?
plan than Obamacare. But the Democrats came up. They wouldn't vote for it. I had a choice to make when I was president. Do I save it and make it as good as it can be, never going to be great, or do I let it rot? And I felt I had an obligation, even though politically it would have been good to just let it rot and let it go away. I decided, and I told my people, the top people, and they're very good people. I have a lot of good people in that administration. We read about the bad ones. We had some real bad ones, too, and so do they. They have really bad ones. The difference is they don't get rid of them. But let me just explain. I had a choice to make. Do I save it and make it as good as it can be, or do I let it rot? And I saved it. I did the right thing. But it's still never going to be great, and it's too expensive for people. And what we will do is we're looking at different plans. If we can come up with a plan that's going to cost
I honestly think
our
ABC's been
people,
doing a good
our
job
population,
for the most part.
less money and be better health care than Obamacare, then I would absolutely do it. But until then, I'd run it as good as it can be run.
So just a yes or no, you still do not have a plan?
I have concepts of a plan. I'm not president right now. But if we come up with something, I would only change it if we come up with something that's better and less expensive. And there are concepts and options.
What do you guys think? Do you guys think
to
moderation
that.
has been
and you'll
impartial?
be hearing about it in the not-too-distant future.
Vice President Harris, in 2017, you supported Bernie Sanders' proposal to do away with private insurance and create a government-run healthcare system. 2 years later, you proposed a plan that included a private insurance option. What is your plan today?
Again, I love you, man, but this debate's giving me a tumor. I gotta go. I don't blame you, bro.
Over the last 4 years as vice president, private healthcare options, but what we need to do is maintain and grow the Affordable Care Act. But I'll get to that, Lindsay. I just need to respond to a previous point that the former president has made. I've made very clear my position on fracking, and then this business about taking everyone's guns away. Tim Walz and I are both gun owners. We're not taking anybody's guns away, so stop with the continuous lying about this stuff. As it relates to the Affordable Care Act, understand, just look at the history to know where people stand. When Donald Trump was president, 60 times he tried to get rid of the Affordable Care Act. 60 times. I was a senator at the time when I will never forget
I was actually surprised by that gun owner comment that she just
when
made.
It was up for a vote in the United States Senate. And the late, great John McCain,
are we lagging?
who you have disparaged as being, you don't like him, you said, at the time because he got caught. He was an American hero. The late, great John McCain, I will never forget that night, walked onto the Senate floor and said,
reload.
No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't get rid of the Affordable Care Act. You have no plan. And what the Affordable Care Act has done is eliminate the ability of insurance companies to deny people with pre-existing conditions. I don't have to tell the people watching tonight, you remember what that was like? Remember when an insurance company could deny if a child had asthma, if someone was a breast cancer survivor, if a grandparent had diabetes? And thankfully, as I've been vice president and we, over the last 4 years, have strengthened the Affordable Care Act, we have allowed for the first time Medicare to negotiate drug prices on behalf of you, the American people. Donald Trump said he was going to allow Medicare to negotiate drug prices. He never did. We did. And now we have capped the cost of insulin at $35 a month.
It is impossible to change the whole healthcare system in such a large country. Super true. Especially in the U.S., man, when there's already like private insurance that is so embedded in the entire process. Like,
we will do that for all people.
My family are doctors, so I
the value
definitely
I bring
understand
to this is that
how embedded they are.
Access to health care should be a right and not just a privilege of those who can afford it. And the plan has to be to strengthen the Affordable Care Act, not get rid of it,
Vice President Harris, thank
in terms
you.
of where Donald Trump stands on that.
I want to move to an issue that's important for a lot of...
She made a mistake. Number one, John McCain fought Obamacare for 10 years. But it wasn't only him. It were all of the Democrats that kept it going. And you know what? We can do much better than Obamacare, much less money. But she won't improve private insurance for people, private medical insurance. That's another thing she doesn't want to get. People are paying privately for insurance that have worked hard and made money, and they want to have private. She wants everybody to be on government insurance where you wait 6 months for an operation that you need immediately.
President Trump, thank you. We have another issue that we'd like to get to that's important for a number of Americans, in particular younger voters, and that's climate change. President Trump, with regard to the environment, you say that we have to have clean air and clean water. Vice President Harris, you call climate change an existential threat. The question to you both tonight is, what would you do to fight climate change? And Vice President Harris, we'll start with you. 1 minute for you each.
Well, the former president had said that climate change is a hoax. And what we know is that it is very real. You ask anyone who lives in a state who has experienced these extreme weather occurrences, who now is either being denied home insurance or it's being jacked up. You ask anybody who has been the victim of what that means in terms of losing their home, having nowhere to go.
Yeah, no one calling out the pharmaceutical
we know
companies.
that we can
Great
actually
point.
deal with
Facts.
this issue. The young people of America care deeply about this issue. And I am proud that as vice president over the last 4 years, we have invested $1 trillion in a clean energy economy, while we have also increased domestic gas production to historic levels. We have created over 800,000 new manufacturing jobs while I have been vice president. We have invested in clean energy to the point that we are opening up factories around the world. Donald Trump said he was going to create manufacturing jobs. He lost manufacturing jobs. And I'm also proud to have the endorsement of the United Auto Workers and Sean Fain, who also know that part of building a clean energy economy includes investing in American-made products, American automobiles. It includes
Really? I feel like the mods haven't been odd.
what we can do
biased.
around American manufacturing and opening up auto plants, not closing them like happened under Donald Trump.
Vice President Harris, thank you.
That didn't happen under Donald Trump. Let me just tell you, they lost 10,000 manufacturing jobs this last month. It's going, they're all leaving. They're building big auto plants in Mexico, in many cases owned by China. They're building these massive plants, and they think they're going to sell their cars into the United States because of these people. What they have given to China is unbelievable. But we're not going to let that. We'll put tariffs on those cars so they can't come into our country, because they will kill the United Auto Workers and any auto worker, whether it's in Detroit or South Carolina or any other place. What they've done to business and manufacturing in this country is
no matter how
horrible.
unbiased
we have
a mod
nothing
is,
because they
depending
refuse.
on the side that you
know,
support, you're going to
Biden
feel like
doesn't
they're
go
biased.
after
It's
people
like a
because
referee in a
supposedly
sports
China
game.
paid him millions of dollars.
You're always going to
He's
say the
afraid
ref
to
was
do
horrible
it.
if you
Between
lose.
him and his son, they get all this money from Ukraine. They get all this money from all of these different countries. And then you wonder, why is he so loyal to this one, that one, Ukraine, China?
I think the mods have been doing a
why
great
is
job,
he? Why
genuinely.
did he get $3.5 million from the mayor of Moscow's wife? Why did she pay him $3.5 million? This is a crooked administration, and they're selling our country down the tubes.
President Trump, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll be right back with closing statements from both of our candidates.
Wow.
An historic
Well,
night, this
chat.
ABC News
I
presidential
know we
debate
fought some
from Philadelphia.
lagging.
Back in a
Maybe we fought some YouTube censorship. Who knows? But I'm curious. Who won the debate?
ABC
I know we
News
still have
presidential
a
debate will
closing
continue
statement.
after this.
Who won the debate? I thought it was quite even.
Baywatch
that
is
sounds
a
like very
fantasy.
cop out.
Baywatch was sexy.
Genuinely.
Baywatch was the #1 show in the world. When you hear that theme song,
I had no idea how much fun I was going to have.
It was addicting. People were just eating that stuff alive.
Kamala
it was
completely
a wild
cleared
time,
Trump.
and I was a wild chick. Jason Momoa exploded.
Carmen was
To be honest, I feel like they both
bombshell.
lost in some areas and won in others.
An icon.
Pamela was the sweet girl who came to get the American dream.
I'm really proud of everything I've done.
Thought both had their moments. Definitely both thoughts. I would say Kamala lost less. Look, I think everybody can agree that she did a lot better. She did a lot better than I think everyone, whether you're liberal or Democrat or Republican, would have said. Yeah, also, what the hell is this ad? After Baywatch? But again, at the end of the day, like, who really is changing their mind based on the debate, like, performance? Like, at this point, like, you probably have already decided, right? That's what I'm more, like, curious about. Did it end? It left for 1 minute. No, there's, like, closing statements. So that's coming up. But yes, it's almost over. But guys, thank you for the 200th-ish people that made it through the lag. The lag won this debate. The ones that have stayed from the beginning, man, I really do appreciate y'all. I really, really do, man. It's been fun watching this. It's been a long fucking day. I've been recording all day and I'm tired, but I was excited for this, man. I was excited to interact with y'all, shoot the shit. Yeah, because you guys make this shit happen. So it sounds like I'm like giving my closing statements right now, but seriously, thank you guys for joining, man. Like, this channel is still in its absolute infancy compared to where we will be, and y'all are the ones that are making it happen, man. You're the ones that made me quit my full-time job to go full-time on this, and you know, it's been stressful, but hey, man, we've been making it happen. We've been making it happen. There are some absolute bangers on the way. Man, I'm just excited, man. I'm just excited. To be honest, I am kind of excited for this whole election stuff to go away. I feel like it's just like, it's endless. There's a lot of fatigue with it, no? And I really don't want to be the channel that's just going to talk about politics. There's just so many things to explore more of, right? Like, really, does it really matter that much who's going to win? Does it? Does it genuinely matter? Like, is it going to solve your problems? No. You're still going to have the same problems. That cute girl that you like in class is still not going to text you back. You're still going to be broke, hopeless, fat, out of shape. No, I'm kidding. But, like, you know what I mean? Yes, I guess it matters to a degree. But what I'm trying to say is, like, I am ready for all this to end a little bit. Just so we can also like talk about the shit, because I feel like I have like this like pressure too to feel like I have to only talk about this, but there's so much other shit, man. There's so much other shit. I do miss yapping with y'all though. I was like biting my tongue at moments because I do want you guys to watch the debate with me, not just me yapping. Yeah, and your forehead is not getting any smaller. That's true. No, whether Kamala or Trump wins, my forehead is still going to be shiny, bright, and big. So, yeah, yes, it matters, LMAO, but it won't stop me from living my life. That's exactly. Yeah, and guys, that's also what I mean too. Every election year, everything becomes so much more politicized. Everything just ramps up. It might always be a problem, but it just gets more eyeballs, more attention, and it just gets raised up. So that's also what I mean too, is that it's not going to change that much. That's the whole point of getting you out to vote. It's like, oh my God, if you don't vote for me, then you guys are going to keep going down this path. Things are going to get worse. You're going to still be fat, out of shape, a loser. So you got to vote for me for the solution. I think Gen is saying that individual motivation is far more important than these figureheads we elect, because this will probably not give everything they promise. Exactly. You said it way better than I could, Logan. Still love you, Gen Z Bobby Lee. That's insane. Oh, okay. Shit. My fault.
Separates us, and we can chart a new way forward. And a vision of that includes having a plan, understanding the aspirations, the dreams of the American people, which is why I intend to create an opportunity economy, investing in small businesses, in new families, in what we can do around protecting seniors, what we can do that is about giving hardworking folks a break and bringing down the cost of living. I believe in what we can do together that is about sustaining America's standing in the world and ensuring that we have the respect that we so rightly deserve, including respecting our military and ensuring we have the most lethal fighting force in the world. I will be a president that will protect our fundamental rights and freedoms, including the right of a woman to make decisions about her own body and not have her government tell her what to do. I'll tell you, I started my career as a prosecutor. I was a DA, I was an attorney general, a United States senator, and now vice president. I've only had one client, the people. And I'll tell you, as a prosecutor, I never asked a victim or a witness, are you a Republican or a Democrat? The only thing I ever asked them, are you okay?
Oh, fuck, dude.
The kind of president we need right now.
You can just always tell when someone's being scripted. Someone who cares about you
and is not putting themselves first. I intend to be a president for all Americans and focus on what we can do over the next 10 and 20 years to build back up our country by investing
I just want her to speak from the heart,
in you, the American people.
Just sounds so scripted.
Vice President Harris, thank you. President Trump?
So she just started by saying she's going to do this, she's going to do that, she's going to do all these wonderful things. Why hasn't she done it? She's been there for 3.5 years.
See, like, at least this isn't scripted. No matter if you disagree with him or not, right?
Years
like, he's responding to what she said.
Create jobs and all the things we talked about. Why hasn't she done it? She should leave right now, go down to that beautiful White House, go to the Capitol, get everyone together and do the things you want to do, but you haven't done it, and you won't do it because you believe in things that the American people don't believe in. You believe in things like, we're not going to frack, we're not going to take fossil fuel, we're not going to do things that are going to make this country strong, whether you like it or not. Germany tried that, and within 1 year, they were back
like
to building normal energy plants. We're not ready for it. We can't sacrifice our country for the sake of bad vision. But I just ask one simple question.
How you start and how you end it.
Why didn't she do it? We're a failing nation. We're a nation that's in serious decline. We're being laughed at all over the world. All over the world, they're laughing. I know the leaders very well. They're coming to see me. They call me. We're laughed at all over the world. They don't understand what happened to us as a nation. We're not a leader. We don't have any idea what's going on. We have wars going on in the Middle East. We have wars going on with Russia and Ukraine. We're going to end up in a third world war, and it'll be a war like no other because of nuclear weapons, the power of weaponry.
Are we headed towards a world war?
I rebuilt our entire military. She gave a lot of it away to the Taliban. She gave it to Afghanistan. What these people have done to our country, and maybe toughest of all, is allowing millions of people to come into our country. Many of them are criminals, and they're destroying our country. The worst president, the worst vice president in the history of our country.
President Trump, thank you. And that is our ABC News presidential debate from here in Philadelphia at the National Constitution Center.
Well,
I'm
guys.
Lindsay Davis.
And I'm David Muir. Thank you for watching here in the U.S. and all over the world. And from all of us here at ABC News. Good night.
What do you guys think? I think the poll's still up. Who won the debate, man?
Thank you. And we are here live on ABC with our post-debate comments.
They didn't shake hands. They went their separate ways.
From the economy to abortion to Afghanistan. They had it all.
Well, chat. What did you guys think? So, very interesting, huh? Very, very, very interesting. I need another debate. I gotta say, it was like a very cordial debate. I thought there would be like a lot more clippable moments, but I don't think there's many clips in that. Stay for post-debate? You guys want to see the post-debate shit? You guys missed it? Next one on Fox? Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's only fair, right? Like, at least do like on a right-wing platform. Like, the last two was what? CNN and ABC? I mean, regardless, I think Mods did well, like, the first two debates, so there's nothing really to say there, but I feel like that's only fair, no? But who do you guys think? 1 for Kamala, 2 for Trump. I'm curious. Let's hear it. Kamala, 2 for Trump. And I'll let you guys know who I'm planning on voting for, by the way. I haven't registered yet, so it's not like, confirmed or anything, but I will let you guys know. Okay, interesting. 2 for Trump, 1 for Kamala. Okay, interesting. I mean, let's be honest. The people are saying 2 or 1. Okay, has anyone changed their mind? Has anyone here changed their mind since watching the debate? That's what I want to know. Has anyone changed their mind since? You know what I'm saying? Has anyone changed their mind? Nay? Not really, no. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? It's not do these debates, it's not like it changes you. Let's say fucking Kamala put on a world-class performance or Trump did. Is it going to change your mind? What changed your mind on wanting to vote? Okay, so we can get into that. Chat, I guess, well, first for the ego. Who wants to hear, who I'm going to be voting for? Or who I'm planning on voting for as of now? Type a W in the chat if you want to hear it. Yeah, has one person changed their mind? Genuinely. I'm genuinely curious. I haven't exactly changed my mind, but I'm more conflicted now, if that makes sense. Okay, that's good, though. Ah, fuck off. Are we fucking lagging again? As a Canadian, we laugh at both of them, but more so Trump. Oh, wow. My chat is so laggy right now. Okay, damn. I feel like you guys are just hearing, the things I'm saying. Oh, damn. W. Okay, that's a fair bit of W's. Okay, so, let me preface this. Also, I need to hear first if we're lagging or not. First off, I need to hear if we're lagging or not. Also, sorry guys, are we lagging? Okay, we're not lagging anymore, just because I think some of you guys said bless you. Okay, first and foremost, I'm going to put up a poll here. I'm curious to hear your guys' predictions. Is it going to be Trump? Is it going to be Kamala? Am I going to be a pussy and not voting? Oh, yeah, sorry, guys. We're just going to end the stream here. This was just to get you guys to stay till the end. Fucking clickbaited your bitch asses. Gotcha, bitches. Nah, I'm kidding. Okay, I'll let that trickle in. But okay, let me give you some background. So yes, if you guys saw my voting video, the video where I asked people in Washington D.C. who they're gonna vote for, kind of like the ending conclusion that I said is, look, I'm not gonna vote. I don't really align with either part. Really feel represented by either of these people, and to be honest, that really hasn't changed. Right? This debate didn't change that. Really, that is still the opinion that I hold. Oh, fuck. Are we lagging? Oh, no. Chat. Fuck. Oh, no. The stream is ending. Damn it. Fuck. Oh, no. I guess I can't reveal it now. Are we lagging still? Where the fuck was I? Okay, so also 53% of y'all said I'm voting for Trump. 14% said Kamala, and then a third of you said I'm gonna be a pussy and not vote. Okay, so what was I saying? Chat, put some W's in the chat if you guys can actually hear me or not. No, I'm actually gonna share my opinions. Okay. Now it's back. Okay. W. Okay, cool. So that hasn't changed, right? That hasn't changed. I really don't align with either of them. It's in my opinion kind of sad that these are two best choices. However, again, right, guys, the whole point of these videos that I make, whether it be issues on voting or abortion or whatever, is I want to encourage you guys to be at least open to changing your mind. And it's the same thing for me, right? Like, that's also the reason why I want to start saying more of my opinions. So I think some of you guys during the chat asked, do you think it'll be bad for my brand to reveal who I'm going to vote for? Maybe, perhaps, right? Maybe. But I think it's a lot more relatable when I can say my opinions and I can tell you guys when I've changed them. And that's exactly what I'm doing right now. You'll get deplatformed if he picks a side. Maybe, like I said, right? Maybe some of you guys won't ever watch a video from me based on what I'm about to say. But I think it's a lot more relatable when I can show you that I will be able to change my mind, right? Like, if I'm not doing that myself, how am I going to encourage or inspire you guys to do the same? So, the reason why I feel like it's now going to be important to vote is I think it is at the end of the day a right? Like a right that I have. Not true. Nick Shirley's doing great. I mean, he said that he's voting for Trump, right? And I think he's definitely more on the right. I mean, I'm actually curious. Would you guys stop watching me based on who I vote for? Would you guys honestly stop voting if I just reveal right now who, or would you guys stop watching me if I just tell you who I'm about to vote for? As long as your videos stay unbiased, I don't care who you vote for. Vote for who you like or don't vote. I'm still going to watch you. Degree in Yapology. I know, guys. This is a world-class yap session, by the way. I'm keeping you guys fucking hooked. No. Look at those couch pillows. He's a liberal. Okay, so no. Okay. So the reason, okay, I'll just tell you. I feel like I'm building it up too much. So, in my opinion, if I had to vote, right? And again, I'm leaning towards that. I should exercise my constitutional right. So I will say this. If it had to be any of the candidates that were seriously running, I would have either voted for RFK or Vivek. I really liked Vivek. I thought he was incredibly smart. I thought he, one, was forward-thinking in the sense that I think out of any candidate, I saw him the most on all these sorts of podcasts that I watch, whether that be Flagrant 2 or all these, I think maybe he was even with Theo Von. I'm not sure, but I saw him like on a lot of podcasts and I was able to at least hear him more. And I thought that he was very reasonable, right? I thought he brought different ideas. And I think the same thing with RFK. However, if I had to choose between the two, I would probably vote for Vivek. So that's what I will say. If I had to vote out of all the different candidates that came out, I thought he was cool. And now between the two, right, whether that's Trump or Kamala, here's what I would say. I think ultimately, one thing that I want to say is with Kamala, she was the most unpopular vice president. She was not even close to being in the primaries or winning it in 2020 when she ran. She, I think, plays a lot of identity politics and then talks about not being divisive. And I think it's a perfect case study in how much the media can manipulate public opinion. It's like all of a sudden now people who hate Trump are now galvanizing her support, where just even 2 months ago, no one gave a shit about her. So with this, if I had to choose between the two, and especially with Trump, I think what he's done well is going to live streams, whether that be even with Adrian Ross, going on podcasts with like Theo Von. You can build up so much more trust with someone, right? Just like even how these live streams and how I'm interacting with 300 of y'all at a time, you can build up even a lot more trust than even you guys watching my videos. And so with that said, and I think, that might not be like the biggest reasons on why you should like vote for someone. If I had to choose between the two and exercise my constitutional right, I would vote for Trump. That's what I would say. Right? So, cat's out the bag. If I had to vote, choose between the two, I'm going to stop being a pussy and not vote and vote for Trump. So that's it. That's it. But I'm curious. I want to hear more from the Kamala voters. Are you guys gonna stop watching me now? And again, I want to make this abundantly clear. I do not want to vote for either of these fuckers. I'm gonna be real, right? I mean, if the debate fucking showed you anything, it's like, really? Is this the two best that we can have? So for whoever just started joining towards the end, I'm glad that all the kind of like viewers came back. I'm like trying to catch up with like the chat. You guys are going crazy in here. But yeah, I guess like, okay, just to sum it all up, right? If I had to vote for any of the candidates, it would have been Vivek. I really liked how like he brought a lot of common sense. Unfortunately, you know, he wasn't even really close to being voted in. I also really liked RFK. I thought it was interesting, like the type of ideas that he brings. And also, we need to make it so it's not like a third. And also, he just spoke the truth. It's crazy. Like his entire family was against him, but he was there to speak the truth. And one last thing I was gonna say is, can you do a poll? Who is your majority party? Let's be honest, right? I think it's definitely mostly right in here. People on the right just got sent me from that. Appreciate you with the dono. DKK, what currency is that? This is brave of you, dude. Mad respect. I don't know. I mean, like I said, right, guys, my mission at the end of the day, as a right winger, I'm creaming my pants right now. Okay, chill the fuck out. See, this is exactly why they don't want to reveal who I was gonna vote for. Like, look at you guys fucking getting hard over who I'm voting for. What did Gen say he's voting for? Oh, I'm voting for Kamala. Guys, I need to keep up my grifter image, right? I'm middle ground, so I have to play both sides. So, yeah. I only said that to make you guys happy, but then next stream, I'm probably going to just talk about how I'm actually a Kamala voter. So, actually, no, I'm probably going to puss out and just say I'm not voting anymore, so I can still keep up like this middle ground image and just fucking play the shit out of both of you guys, right? Both the left and the right, and just have you under my fucking tip of my fingertips. Okay, but no, really, what I'm trying to say though, I'm subbing. What I'm trying to say though is I do want to just show how important it is to be able to change your mind. At the end of the day, right? I said I'm not going to vote, but I talked to a lot of you guys. I did my research, and I think at least now, if I had to vote between the two, it will be Trump. So I want to show that to you guys. I want to share that with you guys, right? That doesn't mean I'm not going to fucking make fun of Trump when he's doing something retarded or dumb. It'll be the same if Kamala ends up winning, right? I think at the end of the day, you have to be able to think independently. And a big part of that is showing when you're wrong or being able to be honest with it. So that's also something you guys are going to start seeing in the videos more. Megamind. Okay, chill the fuck out. Megamind is wild. Megamind 2028 is wild. That's low-key funny as shit, but bro is a pussyfooting troll. You gotta stick with the ground in your own morals, dude. Even if the item could change, it's fine, but be confident about what you believe in. I just fucking told you what I'm confident what I'm believing. What I believe in is truth, and that can change. I might think, did you think the same when you were fucking 12 versus however old you are? Dummy. No. You need to prioritize what you think is truth in that given moment based on the information that you have. Instead of fucking dick riding a party just because you agreed with it back in the 90s. Think about how much each party changes. The left used to be the party of free speech, anti-war, and anti-big corporations. That is absolutely flipped now. So if you apply that same logic of you must stand on your value or your values of your party, no, dummy. You should stand on your values that shouldn't change, like honesty, open-mindedness. Those are my fucking values. Those are my fucking values, not the values of a party. Dummy. That shit changes all the time. Guess what party Abraham Lincoln was? He was a Republican. I don't think people would expect that, right? Because now liberals are known as like the party for the colored people. Okay, colored people is wild. People of color. You know what I mean? If you stick to not values of party, values you grew up with, I think. That's what I mean. What I grew up with was honesty and open-mindedness. And if I change my mind, I'm honest enough to fucking tell you when I change my mind. There's a big difference. I feel like I just failed a math test. Vivek versus Trump poll? Okay, actually, I am curious. Also, this is the results, by the way. So I guess 57% of you guys, I guess, know me well. And 28% of you guys think I'm a pussy. Okay, shut up. I'll do the poll. Okay, hold on. But, chat, any questions? Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Now say who you vote for to your family. I don't give a fuck. Actually, honestly, I talked to my mom and I think she said that she's voting for Trump. So, oh, what the fuck just happened? Okay. What do you guys think? Having an opinion is a good thing. Those who blindly follow need to reevaluate themselves. Exactly. That's a big problem with politics, and especially the two-party system. All right, guys, get off my mom's dick, bro. Okay, I want some feedback though. What do you guys think about that? As like what I'm trying to move the channel. I mean, not try. I'm gonna do it. I don't give a fuck if you guys don't like it, honestly. And let's be honest, you guys started getting a fucking semi-hard on when I said an opinion. And again, right? I will condemn the fuck out of Trump if he does something that I don't agree with. It's the same thing. It's principles. But I'm curious, what do you guys think? Do you guys want to hear more of my opinions on these things and then show you if I'm changed? Imagine me telling my friends I vote Trump. I mean, that's also, I mean, I get it, guys, right? At the end of the day, I obviously probably didn't want to say who I wanted to vote for immediately because there's probably a bit of hesitation there too. So I get it. We must stand on our principles and morals. Exactly. Would you be president? For the ego, yeah. For the ego, be the first Asian president. Yeah, I'll do it for the ego. But I mean, Trump did it. Trump's doing it, to be honest. Obama made fun of him once, like saying that you'll never be president, and then bro became president 4 years later. That's pretty badass. What do you think about having to take a civics test before you vote? I don't think that's that important because let's be real, fucking most of America's retarded. And I don't think they're going to be able to even answer it. I think if anything, what's more important is I think IDs. I mean, we need IDs to be able to do anything. Most often you have to have an ID to get a job. That's why a lot of homeless people actually can't get jobs or apply for housing because they don't have ID. So, because when you get an ID, you also need to have like a place that you're living in. So it becomes like this perpetual cycle. That should be more of a thing. You should show valid identification if you want to vote, right? Isn't that like a big thing that's like not even a thing right now? Like, I think that's crazy. We have to show our ID to get into a bar, right? Obviously for legal reasons, because we had to at least be 21, at least in the United States. It's the same thing for 18, right? If you get to vote when you're 18. So then why the fuck do we now show IDs? What? Like, it's like, so is that like, does that make me more right now? Or does that make me right wing? Like, what? Yeah, we need an ID to buy alcohol. If you even show like an ID picture, like most places, restaurants won't serve you alcohol. Need ID for the airport. I like you for that. You stand on your principle. That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying. It's so stupid to be like, Oh, you don't stand on your principles. If you flip different parties and the values and candidates, you're a grifter. No, fucking dummy. Goddamn. You guys are so brainwashed to think that you have to like follow everything that a party states. You guys are the biggest dick riders if you think that. I agree. I think proving you're a registered voter is important, but this whole proving you can vote with this test makes me concerned, not gonna lie. Yeah, I don't think it should be a test. Like I'm saying, most Americans are retarded, bro. Like most Americans don't even know what the capital of the US is. You know, like have you guys seen like those geography tests? I mean, obviously they pick and choose like the stupidest answers, but I don't have much confidence that most people will be able to like pass the civics test. All right, chat. Okay. I know this was a great stream, man. I had a lot of fun. It's been a long day. It's kind of funny. I spent all day today just talking to a camera, whether that be recording my next video or doing this live stream. So my neighbors must probably think I'm crazy. I'm just screaming, saying lines over and over again. Messi or Ronaldo? Messi. Easy. Easiest. He's a GOAT. You didn't even have to win that World Cup and he would have been the GOAT. But chat, what do you guys think, man? Type some W's in the chat. Also, I want to know who are the first time live streamers. This is actually the first time I really advertised a stream on YouTube community. Maybe I should do that. But we've hit a record. We've hit, I think, what, like 300 live viewers. So let me know who are the new streamers or the new viewers. Did any of you, like the new viewers, even know that I streamed? I think this is like the 6th or 7th stream or something, right? W. First time. Okay, love it. Oh, we hit 400. Nice. Oh, shit. 409. You should do podcasts as well. Yeah, I mean, okay, guys, if we can get more like consistent viewers on the live stream, that's when I know like how many true fans that I have. So if we can get those up, then yeah, I can start a podcast. But right now, I feel like you guys are at a point where you guys just watch based on topic. I've never seen any of your live streams. It got up to 400 at one point. Oh, 446 viewers at one point. Thanks for building this community. I've enjoyed you and everyone here. Thank you, Faye Bell. You are a real one. I see you in the chats all the time, man. I've only seen your normal vids. Dude, some people are stupid. Some people were like, oh, I miss when... Why are you going to live streams? Why are you going to low quality live streams? Make your high quality videos. I'm like, yes, I am. Did you not just see that I just posted like 2 days ago? Like, it doesn't mean that I'm doing a live stream that I've abandoned making videos. Best streamer. This is the first time I saw you were live streaming. I watched all your videos. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, cool. Bro is so right wing. He will soon be ready to sacrifice life for the emperor and invade Manchuria. All right, man. I thought for a while before I started these live streams that my audience is too serious and educated. But there's some funny motherfuckers here, man. Like this is the value of the schizo commenters. Like you guys are funny. There's some funny people, man. I don't even know who you are, but this is fun. I don't have any party loyalties. Kenny Jr. would have been my vote. Oh, cool. That's awesome. I didn't even know that this would get pushed out to someone who doesn't even know me. Gerard, check out the videos. You'll love it. Is that where you watch Prawn? What are you talking about? So much goes into the beefy videos for real. Yes. Gotta have that balance. You think we're educated? I'm not gonna lie, guys. Like a lot of the people that I met in person, like in my audience, they've all been very smart, man. Sometimes I feel like I'm the dumbest motherfucker in my community. But then I've been on these live streams and I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely not the dumbest one. There are some very, very smart people, man. I met like people who are like PhD in neurology or whatever. I met people who are like going to school in Johns Hopkins, like the top school. Bro thought he had a balanced audience, but then left. Don't leave CNN. Yeah, I mean, like we talked about, right? I think the topics that I mean, guys, you guys have to be honest. At least like when I make the videos, it's as unbiased as it can get. But ultimately, the people who are going to click on these videos are going to be more on the right. I'd watch no matter who you voted for. I love the curious mindset in which more of us had it. Keep on keeping on, mate. Appreciate that, mate. Had a blast with this live stream. Thank you. Goofy intellect is the best kind. That is true, guys. That's why I think comedians are one of the smartest people out there. Because to be witty is to be smart. So comedians really are actually smart. You're certainly not dumb due to self-realization of social norms, interaction between you and your viewers. Self-realization, what causes unique experiences. Yeah. So yeah, I guess like that's why I like these live streams, man. It's like freeing. It's like, you know, I feel like I could be more myself, and I want to show more of that in the videos. So thank you guys for joining. I have to maybe get back to work. We'll see. I'm smart, graduated from KFC. Good for you. Thank you guys for joining. I want to see some W's in the chat for the ego until I have to go back to work. Finish some couple things up. But type some W's. And yeah, guys, maybe I'll live stream again this week. Also, wait, hold on. Actually, don't leave yet. Don't leave yet. I want you guys to join this wait list. Especially if you guys made it till the end. Join this wait list, man. Please. Okay, I'm not going to beg. But join this. Join this. Join this. Join the waiting list. Join the waiting list. Join the wait list. And also follow the Twitter. Follow the Twitter and you'll hear more of my opinions. Oh wait, shit. I just sent you the login page. I'm stupid. Hold on. See? This is why I need new mods. This is why I need new mods, bro. Like, fuck my mods. They ain't doing shit. All right. Okay. And then join the wait list, chat. You'll find it all explained in the video. All right. You spamming fiend. Okay. Thank you. Thanks for yeah. Guys, go join the Twitter, go join the 2 wait lists, join the newsletter, all these different plugs. What do you do for work? This is my work. What I mean is I have to go film some more videos tonight. So, are you going to live stream election night? Of course, man. Of course. Of course we are. All right, ciao. Thanks for joining.